And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for being here. You could be anywhere in the whole wide world, but I'm glad you're right here with me live tonight. Most certainly appreciate y'all. Please like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. This virus madness drags on. I felt like we've been doing this for years, but it's only been a few days. What about 2 weeks? But it feels like it's been much longer. Are they going to get this whole stimulus deal passed or no? What are we really going to do about this whole situation? What's going to be the result of all this action? They're talking about the stimulus bill. I'm hearing 2 trillion, 6 trillion, all kinds of trillions, a ridiculous amount of money. And what would the final death toll be from this? How many lives were saved because of this? I'm hearing people say that they got the virus already. They had it in January, they had it in December, and were able to recover. How many Americans died before all of this shutdown, before all of this hysteria from the media started? When Trump was saying, let's stop all the planes coming from China, and he was called a racist, and he was called a xenophobe, and he was called other obs and ist, all the ones up under the book, when the mainstream leftist media were saying, oh, this is too far, you can't be discriminating, this, that, and the third. When they were saying that, he was saying, stop it. How many individuals died in that period of time? Does anybody care? Does the mainstream media care? I don't think so. Now that it's become politically advantageous, they care. We'll talk about that and much more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And I thank y'all again for being here. You could be anywhere, but you're right here with me. And I thank y'all for that. Please like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. If you're listening on an audio streaming platform, please give me a review over there, a 5-star rating or whatever you can on that particular platform. This particular show you're listening to and watching right now will be available on your favorite audio streaming platform: iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Anchor, Spotify, Castbox, and more. So again, thank y'all for watching. We will be getting rocking and rolling here. Now, what's going on with this whole stimulus thing? Have they actually been able to pass it? I know that it passed the Senate, but see, what they're doing now is, what I saw last was that the White House, of course, they're with it. The Senate, they're on board with it, but now it has to go to the House. And Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House, and she has some influence still, although I think that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is the real leader of the party. I feel like if AOC weren't there, then maybe we get some progress going. You know, Nancy Pelosi's bad, but I think AOC is the true bad influence in this whole situation. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's all of them that are equally as bad. It's kind of hard to tell. Either way it goes, I'm ready for the whole thing to be over. But now it has to go to Nancy Pelosi. Do you think that she will allow it to be passed? They're talking about all kind of things. They're talking about we want airplane emission standards to be improved by 2024. They want student loan debt relief, $15 hour minimum wage, just stupid stuff that had nothing to do with the actual thing that's going on. Okay, I see the chat's not moving. I'll fix that right quick. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay. Somebody said, who's going to embarrass ABL? I don't know. Some troll calling up, acting crazy might do it. Or they may attempt to do it. But what are we going to do about this whole situation? What's going to be the next thing? Now, Trump says he'd like for the government to be reopened right around Easter. People, of course, are taking that as he says that the government will be open, or the country, pardon me, will be opened on Easter. Although he didn't say that, that's what they're thinking. I mean, part of me understands why people are taking it that way, because a lot of these businesses are wanting to know, okay, when can we go back to normal? When can we open the store up? When can we begin making money? When can we tell any investors that, hey, we're going to be open on this particular day? So let's just streamline things for a particular point in time. People that have been laid off or told, hey, don't come back to CHOP until April or whenever, they can now have the date to set their sights on and say, okay, we're going to go back on this particular day. Now, some are saying that that's not the right thing to do. You can't say April 12th. I mean, when will the day be? It's got to be a certain day. Like Trump was saying in the town hall on the White House lawn, some would want it to be shut down for years. There's nobody, you can't do that. Okay. People are already outside playing racquetball, basketball, tennis, lacrosse, hacky sack, soccer, whatever you want to call it. People are already having barbecues, parties with a DJ, the whole 9 yards. You're not going to be able to have people in their house for 2 years. You know, I'm not a criminal. I've not committed a crime. You can't just lock me up for no reason. People want to praise the Chinese Communist Party for their handling of the virus, but they were actually welding people inside of their homes. Okay, it'd be a steel bar. Like, you ever see them little them kitty gates that people have in their houses to prevent their little kids from going in certain rooms? They actually did that to a whole new level. They put a steel bar on your front door and welded it shut. All you could do was just open it a little bit to get some fresh air in, or maybe to get a ration slipped in, like you in the penitentiary. And them so-called hospital, or the hospital, the big one they built in like, a week or whatever that was really a low-grade penitentiary. You got a food tray, a food slot on the front of the door, which means you're not going to be able to just to walk around and get food or have a person walk into your room and give you the food. No, open the tray, I'll slide the food in. That's penitentiary, jail, prison, whatever you want to call it. And the door did not open from the inside, only from the outside, and they got the food tray on the outside. That's called jail. To keep you locked up against your will. So are we going to do that? Are we just going to violate rights? I've not done anything wrong. I've not hurt anyone. I've not violated any law. But now all of a sudden, I get locked up in my own house. I can't even leave. You know, by threat of what? The police intervening, gunpoint. What are we really doing here? So at a certain point, people don't want to be trapped in their houses. They're not criminals. They didn't get locked up. So they want to be able to say, on this particular day, I'm going to be free. I'm going to be home. I'm going to be able to do what I want to do. And that's just that. Yeah. Now, the whole thing with the Olympics, people are going to be afraid. Like, I think the Olympics being canceled was more of a PR move. I don't have the virus. I got a little bit of a thing, but no virus. I'm perfectly fine. People are saying that, you know, the Olympics move was a good one. I mean, it was good not because it's like a serious safety issue. I think it's because they don't want anybody to get sick at the games and then have that be on Japan. Like, okay, you did the wrong thing. You should have canceled the games, all this, that, and the third. So that's just more of a PR thing. I think a similar thing is happening all over the country. Even what's happening right now with the United States from the federal level is a PR move, because if Trump doesn't shut anything down or give any suggestions, because I don't think Trump has actually shut anything down in the individual states and cities. That's been up to the government of the states and cities to shut certain things down. But his recommendations have been to avoid crowds, not go to restaurants, that type of thing. That's a suggestion from the government. He's not actually said to shut things down. But if he didn't say that, then they would say, oh, Trump didn't do anything. He didn't act and people are dying. Even if it were the same death toll that we have right now, which is like 800, which is not that much. I mean, the media will show you this little death ticker, 800 deaths. But then how many have died from the flu? How many have died from that big virus? You know, the big one, the big kahuna, HIV. Okay, how many have died from that in this particular point in time? We don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about this virus over here because it's a political thing that we can just attach certain things to. We could try to get student loan and all kind of stuff passed, minimum wage heightened up. It's ridiculous. The left, they do not let a good tragedy go to waste. That's pretty much what's going on here. So it is what it is. Yeah, welcome to 1984. We're here already. 1984 is here, and I'm not a fan of it. You know, I thought that when I was in the zombie apocalypse, it'd be a little bit different. It'd be like Mad Max. I'm riding around with a mullet and an old crazy car with nitrous on the back. But Really what's going on is that I'm going to Walmart trying to scrounge for supplies that have been picked through by ravenous people who are afraid because the mainstream media told them so. And speaking of people that are afraid, let's talk about the Arizona couple. Now, did you guys see my video or anyone else's video or the news story in general? Have you guys actually seen that? Look, okay, a couple in Arizona who are 68 and 61. Well, one of them passed away, unfortunately, the husband. He died, but they were in their 60s, one early 60s, one late 60s. They decided to take a drug that sounds like a drug that Trump was talking about on TV that has helped people who have the virus. Now, Trump got on TV and was talking about the trials in New York that have started with a drug cocktail, one of the drugs being very effective that's used to treat malaria called hydroxychloroquine or chloroquine, whatever you want to call it. That's what he said on TV, hydroxychloroquine. Now, these two rocket scientists, Einsteins, Galileo, geniuses, Rhodes Scholars, they saw something in their house on top of their fridge that had chloroquine in it in the name. And they said, hey, is that what Trump was talking about right there? Yeah, that's it. Let's go ahead and take a tablespoon of it, dump it into my Mountain Dew, stir it up like it's some tea or something. I'm going to go ahead and just chug it, and that will help me with the virus. Now, mind you, they did not have any symptoms. They were healthy. They had no underlying health problems that would make them susceptible to the virus, except for their old age. Or they weren't even really that old, but they were older than me, let's say. The husband died as a result, and the wife is in ICU. Now, some said the wife could have been trying to poison the husband, maybe. I don't know. That could be a 300 IQ play, but I don't think they're that smart. I just don't think so. Okay, because at a certain point, if you take fish tank cleaner, which is what they took, it had chloroquine in the name, but it was not hydroxychloroquine. It was chloroquine phosphate, a totally different chemical compound. Okay. You can breathe CO2. I mean, you could breathe O2, but O3 is a different story. Anyway, the compound was not the same as what Trump was talking about, number one. Number two, it's fish tank cleaner. That's why they had it in their house most likely, because the people that are in a situation, they're involved with it, they said what they took was fish tank cleaner. Directly, I put it in the description box of my video I did about it. They took fish tank cleaner. They put it into their Mountain Dew, the Diet Pepsi or whatever, and drank that. At a certain point, you got to know what dosage you're going to take of a particular thing. If it's the right drug, which it was not. Even if they had hydroxychloroquine, which they didn't, you can't just take that without any kind of medical advice. All right. You got to understand how many to take. Like, you know, words on the bottle, those actually mean something. Okay. Read the bottle. It may say, don't take more than 4 in a 24-hour period. Consult your physician. Actually heed some of those words, because these drugs, even over-the-counter drugs that are meant for human consumption, unlike fish tank cleaners, still have some recommendations and some guidelines. And the hydroxychloroquine, if I'm not mistaken, is only available by prescription, which means you got to go to a doctor and they got to say, okay, we're prescribing you this particular drug to treat this particular thing. Take it this amount of times throughout the day or once a day, whatever it is. Take this as well, eat that as well, sleep this amount of time per day, and you'll be better. It's part of an actual treatment, not just, oh, I see a drug that looks similar to that at my house. Even though I put it in my fish tank to clean it, I'm going to just put that into my Starbucks Frappuccino and chuck that. It doesn't make any sense. But hey, it is what it is. You know, it's not Trump's fault that people at a certain point are morons. Okay, they were stone cold morons. But beyond that, I also blame the media, because they're out there putting the fear in people's hearts. There was no reason for them to be scared. They didn't even have it. They weren't even sick at all. They had no symptoms, no sniffling, coughing, hacking, short of breath, nothing. They just were regular normies saying, hey, I'm scared. I want to protect myself. So they came up with a homemade vaccination. Unfortunately for them, it didn't work out too well. The husband is gone and the wife is in ICU. Hopefully she gets better. You know, I hate to see stuff like that happen, but let it be a lesson to anybody out there. If you see a random thing in your house, don't just ingest that. Read the labels. Like, here's some water right here. All right. Now, I'm sure it has certain words on the label. If you're a medication, it'd be words in there that say, okay, take it this particular time during the day. If you have X, Y, and Z condition, don't take it. At the end of the day, talk to a doctor. Don't try to be, doing these home remedies with dangerous substances. But it is what it is. Yes, you can use that Charles Turner Jr. stomp down Stone Cold. Yes, you can. That's yours. Take that. Oh, yeah, I've seen that, Richie. People are licking toilet seats to be cool. Apparently, it's a new challenge that the youngins are doing. Not all youngins, because no, a lot of you guys are young viewers. You watching me. You're not morons. So nothing against you. I'm talking about some of your peers that are morons, okay? They are in airplanes, which is the worst place, by the way. They're licking toilet seats in the airplane. Now, you're just asking for it at that particular point. If you just keel over and die right there, that's your fault. You asked for that. Licking an airplane, I mean, but you know what? That's terrible. That's ridiculous and disgusting. But I've seen things that are almost as nasty. Like, I saw Beto O'Rourke doing push-ups on the floor in the airport. It's like, Doc, do you understand how many roller carts come through that particular place on the ground that are also in the bathroom? When I go to the airport bathroom, everybody got the rolling bag in there because you don't want to just leave your stuff on the outside of the bathroom. If you're by yourself or whatever it is, you got your roller bag in there. You got your feet, obviously, on there. People come from all over the country, all over the world. People coming from India. They might got doo-doo on their shoe. No racist, just saying. All of that just is on the floor. And how often is that floor cleaned? But you just land on the ground like it's no problem? People are disgusting. At a certain point, we need to have better hygiene habits. I think if there's a positive thing to gain from all of this, people are gaining better hygiene habits. Okay, don't lay on the ground in the airport. Don't lick toilet seats. When you do, wash your hands afterwards. Before you eat and after you eat, wash your hands. Maybe that might be a good thing. Before you put food in your mouth with your hands, how about you wash the hand you're using to put the food in your mouth with? I'm just saying, maybe that might make sense. Okay, and wash it with soap. You know, you got hand sanitizer. That's fine. That's cool. That's a nice little way to get yourself clean a little bit. But soap and water, that's fine. It's not illegal to use soap and water yet. You know, not yet. You know, California might be kind of illegal because they got all kind of restrictions. You can't go to a gun store, but you can go to a weed store, right? If you want to smoke weed all day, that's fine. Go to your weed store. If you want to be a professional crack smoker for a living, if you want to shoot heroin, smoke meth, whatever you want to do, bang needles on the street in front of the mayor in broad daylight in San Francisco, that's fine. No problem. But hey, you want to go to In-N-Out Burger and sit on the inside and eat it? Nope, can't do that. You want to buy a gun to protect yourself against the crackheads and the meth monkeys out there? Nope, you can't do that because that's not essential. But the weed dispensary somehow is essential. What is really going on? I know people are using this particular crisis to push their own narratives. Weed is not essential. I'm sorry. If you like smoking weed, that's fine, but it's not essential. All right. Food is essential. Water is essential. Protecting yourself is essential. Having a gun, that's essential. Because if some lunatic busts in my house, I want to be able to go ahead and, send a mass to protect myself, which is my right to be able to do so. When you're closing down the gun stores, you're taking away my rights. A lot of rights are being totally eroded during this. And my fear is that they won't come back when this whole thing is over with. All right. It's the same thing with the businesses. Speaking about business, talk about this little stimulus thing right quick. $2 trillion. And then it's like, what? Another $4 trillion to the Fed or from the Fed, some kind of thing. I'm not sure what that is, but I heard the 6 trillion number. I'm like, wow, 6 trillion. The total global GDP is like 80 trillion. We're talking about 6 trillion for a virus that has killed 800 people in the United States. The total, when it's all said and done, might be like 2,500 to 5,000. Now, I'm not saying that people's lives don't matter. Of course they do matter. Anyone that dies is somebody. They have a life, they have a family, people know them, they love them, or at least at one point they did. So everyone's life is precious, everyone's health is precious. But the same thing can be said for those that die from the flu every year. Average 35,000 in the US alone that die from the flu every year. Okay, 80,000 died in the 2017-2018 winter season. Oh, there is a vaccine that's 40% effective. Okay, so 60% of people are going to catch the flu, even if they have the vaccine, quote unquote vaccine, and still might be at risk of dying. So what are we really doing? There's drugs right now that can treat this corona situation. People said they took the hydroxychloroquine, but other drugs, and they feel totally fine. One guy was kind of portly, a little chubby, right? Not joking, but just saying he did not look like he was in the best of health before he got the virus. He said that he was on death's door knocking, like, let me in. I'm about to go ahead and just go away, right? But he took the drug concoction that included hydroxychloroquine, not chloroquine phosphate, which is a fish tank cleaner, and he was totally fine the next day. Totally fine. So we have drugs that work. Let's get the country back together. Let's rather than giving all this money to things that don't make a difference, talking about the Kennedy Center, $30 million to the Kennedy Center, student loan debt. Take that money and put it into making this drug or drug cocktail en masse. You know, buy up a whole spot, build a spot, whatever you got to do. Build a drug en masse, give it to hospitals. Anybody that comes in there with the symptoms, they test positive, give them that, and then see you later. That should be what it is. I don't understand why we're trying to make things more complicated than that. I'm just saying things from the common sense point of view. Let's not have things be so complicated. Make it be very simple, because these things are kind of simple when you just get down to it. When you break away from all the pork in the bill and the politics behind the bill, break it down to where it's very simple. That just kind of makes common sense to me, but hey, who am I? It is what it is. Rich AZ says 800,000 children go missing every year. Exactly. What about that? That's not even a concern. I never hear anything about that. You got Amber Alerts. You see it on your phone, you try to ignore it. We don't talk about that at all. But this particular virus, and there's a big virus, that people can get and never can get rid of. Like I said, Magic Johnson should have been the first guy that Fauci got on the phone. We're trying to find a cure, but that's a different story. So I digress. The point is that we're way overreacting. This money, I'm not sure where we're going to actually get it from. I'm not sure if it's going to actually be effective. The main thing that we need any kind of cash for is because of people that have been disrupted in their employment because the government said you can't go to work. No, that's all we really, anything else is not even important. I'm not trying to hear about Green New Deal or abortion or minimum wage. No political things need to be done. When you're trying to pass some kind of thing to do disaster relief like Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Sandy, the Nashville tornadoes we just had recently, when you're doing anything for that, the focus should be on the disaster, on the problem, not other things. You can get in there because it's a big moment. Everybody want to get it passed. And I'm hearing that the bill is like 1,000 pages. Why's it got to be so many pages? What is in the book? What is in the actual bill? It should be 2 pages. Okay, every American gets X amount of money. Businesses get X amount of money. And that's it. Sign off on it. See you later. 1,000 pages. I understand legalese and how long and complex that can be. But why must it be so long? The reason for that is because they're trying to hide things. It's done on purpose. They're trying to hide things in there. So you try to, you might gloss over it, not catch it. You got to hire a whole staff to read through these bills to catch anything that may be improper. And they got to be trained on how to read legalese. Have you ever tried to read a legal document? You got to have a dictionary for the document. You know how to speak English. You know what certain words mean. But in legalese, it's a different language to a certain extent. You got to have a law book that has legal terms in it to even understand what's going on. That's why it's so long and bloated, because they're trying to hide things in it, and they're trying to, stick things through the cracks to push forward an agenda. And it shouldn't be that way at all. I can't do that, Ray Ray. He says, when I get my check, give it to him. I can't do that, man. I can't give my check to anybody. No, I'm gonna invest that and put money into the economy. That's what we should be doing. I want to continue to participate in the economy. I'm not just trying to have my money or whatever I make just be stuck in my pocket. I want to be able to stimulate the economy and get everybody their jobs back. Now, I know I can't do by myself, but I think that if we all were able to get back into the economy, if we desire, then we should be able to do so to help not just other people, but ourselves as well. An economy that is on and cracking is a good economy for all. It does not just help the people that work at a particular place or the big bad corporation. It helps all of us. Get everything going again, 100%. And matter of fact, speaking about everything going again, if you guys want to get into the stock market, I'm just now getting into it myself because people are telling me, hey, man, the market's low. Go ahead and get into it, get cracking, get some stocks. Check out this link. This is for Robinhood. You guys may know about Robinhood, and shout out to all you guys that are on it. And thank you to everybody that has signed up for it so far. If you signed up to Robinhood through my link, and I'm about to put that in the chat box, you can get a free stock. No money being spent required. Get you a free stock. Why not? The link is right there in the chat box, also in the description box. Free stock. I got my free stocks. So I put money into it. And when we get back rolling, I not only want to do stocks, I also want to just get back out there in the street. I want to continue to fly again. I want to go to hotels. I want to go to the movies, restaurants, events, basketball games. I was wanting to go to a pro NBA game in Memphis or Atlanta or somewhere. I wanted to maybe even the LA Lakers game, something, or a Clippers game. I want to go stimulate the economy, but they're telling me, oh, you can't go here, you can't go there. I just don't want to do it. I don't want to be in a situation where I can't do it. I want to be able to go out there and do it, if that makes sense. Yep. Jessica says, I just bought one share of Chewy stock through Robinhood last night, executed this morning. There you go. Boom. So it is what it is. Now, I'm hearing about the government check. They're saying that if you're not a taxpayer, you get less. I'm not sure if that's true or false. But the check is based on your taxes from 2018 or 2019, and maybe 2018. So if on your taxes, one of those years, not sure which one it is, you made less than $75,000 as an individual, you would get your check for $1,200, and kids get $500 apiece. Or the adults obviously would get $500 apiece. I don't think that the kids would get paid the money. I'm not sure how that would work. But it is what it is. Hey, I'm right there with you, Marion Vidal. Go to a Yankees game. I want to go to a Yankees game too. I want to go to New York. I want to go to the ball game and really enjoy myself and, just get back out there in the mix. Simple. Let me see. Brett says, I bought multiple stocks in oil and gas, Verizon and Fitbit. Fitbit's a good one. Absolutely. People trying to get themselves out there, physically fit. They want the tracker. That's a good one to get into, especially right now, since they can't really go to places. They can still go outside and exercise and do that type of thing. So that's a good one to get into. Absolutely. So it's based on 2019 finals. Okay. Got you. AI says, can I borrow anyone's kids? Hilarious. WrestleMania. Now, when is that going to be? Nolo King. I went to an event a long time ago in Norfolk. It was great, man. It was fun, man. Just being at these live events. I've been to a pro basketball game. I've been to like a minor. I went to arena football back in the day when they had that. When Bruce Smith owned a team in North, I went to that. I'm going to go to a pro football game, another pro basketball game, and WrestleMania would be fun as well. Just to be at the place, feeling the energy, being around people again, it's just fun. So we'll see. Okay, so Beach Jedi says it's incremental, $5 or less, $5 less per $100 over 75,000. Okay, got you. So if you made 80, you just take the deduction of, the 100, which we probably get like $25 less or whatever it is. Wow. Deaf Chicks Are Hot, hilarious name, says WrestleMania will be streamed with no audience. I mean, that just kind of ruins it because the audience is half of the show. To get the pops from the crowd when people come out, I mean, it ain't the same. It's like watching a boxing match with no audience or basketball game with no audience. The audience is a big part of the game. You have a tight, close game. And the energy from the crowd also, when talking about basketball, football, and baseball to a certain extent as well, the energy from the crowd fuels the players on the field or on the court. It just kind of sucks. All right. But thank y'all for being here. You guys are fantastic. The best audience on YouTube. Please like the video if you like what you heard so far, and share the video as well. Play it on your audio streaming platform of choice. This will be available on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Anchor, everywhere. If you want to subscribe to my audio platforms, a link is in the description box. If you can't find the box, just look under this video. It should be a button that says show more. Click on that button that says show more and you'll see more. You'll see links for the Robinhood app. You'll see my website. You'll see merch. You'll see a lot of other things, social media, the whole 9 yards. So thank y'all for this. Miss A says must be 18, 19 is what's now. Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right about that, Miss A. So the taxes that this would be based on has to be in 2018 because we still have more time, not even until April. We have until July 15th to file 2019's taxes. So your check you get will be based on 2018. If you did not pay taxes that particular year, I think you may get less, but I'm not really sure about that. That's a good point. Thank you, Miss A. Oh, the gas is super cheap. Somebody said it's $173. Yeah, it's super cheap. I mean, it's great for us, just the regular people out here trying to work every day. But for industries that kind of rely on higher gas prices might be kind of bad for them. And it may be bad for those that work in oil and gas. Or if you have stock in oil, well, you can buy stock in oil right now because it'll go up, but that's a different story. And it should help the airline industry to a certain extent because they got to buy gas too. Not sure if their particular fuel is impacted like we are as consumers with our cars, but I assume it would be. Delta, Boeing, all these companies are doing really bad right now. Nobody's flying because there's no events. There's no things you can actually fly to. You can't even leave your house, let alone get in a plane and fly across the country or anywhere else. It's crazy. Now I'm hearing that they're trying to ban flying in certain places, or you can't fly to certain places. Or if you do fly, you got to get some kind of temperature check just to make sure everything's on the up and up and everything's A-okay. That's crazy. Oh, High Bacon says $1.29 in my town for gas. Wow. Now, I saw in one town in Tennessee, matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, it was 99 cents for a gallon of gas. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. $1.60. Now, here's my question to anyone in California. If you've been allowed to go to a gas station, which you might not be able to do because of the governor and the mayor of LA, what's the gas looking like in your place where you live at? We talking about $3 still? Has it gone down? What's going on? $1.78 Louisiana. Noob with the doob, hilarious name, says gas is $3.40 a gallon here. Where you at? Are you in California? If so, then I understand. I understand 100%. Some young guy says 49 cents a gallon. No, come on. Where do you live? Antarctica? Do you live in an oil patch? Where do you live at, sir or ma'am? I don't know if that's even possible to be 49 cents a gallon. Maybe you got some kind of crazy connection with ExxonMobil. You might be the chairman's son or daughter or something like that. Okay, let me see. We got super chats to read right quick. Then I'm going to get on with the rest of the show. Miriam Vidal says, Weinstein didn't infect himself. Oh, we'll talk about Weinstein. Yes, indeed. Thank you for that. Most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to my man, Jericho Green, who says, Trump is right. Let's turn the lights back on. I'm with you, man. 1,000%. We got to get back to life. We can't just put our lives on hold. People are losing their shirt. Companies are losing their shirt, going out of business. And then the thing about it is, some may think, oh, well, they don't have any money right now. They'll be able to rebound. But that might not be the case. They may go out of business right now and file bankruptcy, never to return. Liquidate their assets and move on somewhere else. Different country, whatever it is. And the people that had jobs there are just out of luck. You have Amazon hiring a lot right now, like 100,000 positions or something like that. Or that might have been Walmart. Walmart's hiring. Grocery stores are hiring. Amazon is hiring. But is that going to last forever? People are going to grocery stores because they can't go other places and they're scared. So they're just bulk buying things they don't actually need. So when the demand goes down and things go back to normal, you would not need to have all these extra employees in these places. So that's not going to be a thing that lasts very long. That'll revert back to normal. However, if you had a business and they went bankrupt, can you just get that back? I'm not really sure. But shout out to my man, Jericho Green, for the donation. And you guys follow him if you're not already on YouTube. Thank you for the donation. Thank you to Charles Jones Jr., who says, ABL, great video yesterday about the Wuhan virus press conference. Yet the left keeps saying Trump said he doesn't take responsibility, that the virus is a hoax. The lies of the left never end. I mean, you would think that maybe they just put a pause on the game right now. The game is being played. We all know it. I think anybody that watches news for any particular point in time, longer than a couple minutes a day, you will understand that this whole thing is a game that the left are doing. They're trying to attack Trump. They're trying to attack anybody that is in his cabinet, anybody that's on the left. Probably anybody that's on the right, any kind of political figure, any kind of regular normie. CNN tried to dox somebody over a video. So we know that they are playing the game of trying to attack the right to try and preserve the left and push for the leftist ideology. But you would think right now they pause the game. But like I said before, someone would think the game is just a game and they're going to play it. The game got to remain the game and they're going to play. Thank you to Ansel, who says, Michelle A. garnished half of my stimulus check before the Senate even voted on the bill. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you, boss. And thank you to Matthew Richardson, who says, airlines buy fuel with futures contracts all along. Okay. So they're not going to be affected by the short-term fluctuation. Is that what I'm saying? You know, I'm not, you know more about that than me, but that's kind of what I'm getting from that. Thank you for the donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. And if you like what you're hearing so far, share the video. That'll help me out a lot. And if you are unsubscribed or not subscribed yet, go ahead and do that for me. Subscribe and click the bell as well. So when I go live or post a new video pre-recorded, you get a notification on your cell phone, your email, the YouTube, or whatever it is. Alrighty. Now, have you guys seen Joe Biden? Speaking about this whole thing, have you guys seen Joe Biden lately? I mean, he has been looking bad throughout this whole thing. All right. And quite frankly, I have to ask a question. Is he quarantined? He shouldn't be outside. He shouldn't be allowed around anybody. I'm seeing him from his house do these little press conferences or live hits or whatever. It's like he's trying very hard to speak properly and to not get himself confused, but he's just failing. Some say he has a stutter. I do as well, but you're going to stutter and just missay certain words. You're not going to say different words that are not relevant to what you're talking about. You're not going to forget certain things and say, oh, I got to stutter. That's not how that really works. You just forgetting things. Your mind is slipping from you, sir. If you heard him like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it was a different guy. He was much sharper, quick on his feet, witty. All those things are gone. It's all gone. He is a shell of his former self. He's not the same guy. This video right here, I'll play for you. It kind of illustrates my point. And matter of fact, just watch it. I don't want to explain it no more. Just go ahead and watch it. Let me put it on the screen here.
This is Sarah Haynes. In Hot Topics, we talked about Trump saying the government would reassess the recommended period for keeping businesses shut and people at home. Are you at all concerned, as Trump said, that we cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself?
We have to take care of the cure. That will make the problem worse no matter what.
What? What did he say? Okay, let's run that back one more time so we can kind of just get a little bit more of what he was saying, if possible. And also, I'm going to pause it at a certain point to point out a thing that you may have missed before he said what he said.
This is Sarah Haynes. In Hot Topics, we talked about...
Right there, touching his mouth. That's number one.
Trump saying the government would reassess the recommended period for keeping businesses shut.
Scratching his face.
At home. Are you at all concerned, as Trump said, that we cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself?
We have to take care of the cure. That will make the problem worse no matter what.
What? Okay. We got to take care of the cure. That will make the problem worse no matter what. What does that mean? Am I just not able to comprehend? Am I just silly? Am I just a little slow? Or did he just not make any sense right there? I'm having a hard time figuring out what he was saying. Here's one more clip for you guys. This comes from his appearance on CNN with Jake Tapper.
I have not talked to any individual. Excuse me.
You know, you're supposed to cough into your elbow. I don't know, sir. I learned that actually covering your White House.
Actually, that's true. But fortunately, I'm alone in my home. But that's okay.
All right.
I agree. You're right.
You should it's kind of old school to do it with your hand. Do it into your elbow. You're supposed to do it.
Thank you.
I mean, the man, he's too old to be running. The Democrats ought to be ashamed of themselves putting this guy out there like that. He has no idea what's going on at all. None whatsoever. He looks bad. And it's kind of sad, really, that he has to do this. It shouldn't be on his back to try and carry the Democratic Party. It really shouldn't be. And then when it comes down to the election, how it's going to be so embarrassing for him to actually have to go out there and campaign. When this whole thing is over, he's going to be campaigning. He's going to be out there shaking hands, kissing babies. Well, hopefully not the last part. But anyway, he'll be out there campaigning. How is he going to survive when he can't put a sentence together that makes any kind of sense? When he doesn't know where he is? When he's not even self-aware? He's not cognizant of himself. He's not there. It's really sad. They should just go ahead and let him go home and have that be that. I'm tired of seeing this man fall apart on TV. The Democratic Party, they're shameless. They're shameless because of a few things. Because they got this man who was obviously sick, coughing, don't know where he's at. He's obviously not well, shouldn't be trying to become the president, should be getting some kind of medical treatment, quite honestly, for the mental problems and the physical problems. He's not well, but they got him out there anyway. Okay? Literally weekend at Bernie's, you understand what I'm saying? But beyond that, with this whole coronavirus situation, CCP virus, Wuhan virus, Kung flu, whatever you want to call it, with that whole thing, they're trying to put in money for abortions, money for the Green New Deal, $50 out of minimum wage, all kind of other things. Rather than focus on a bipartisan agreement to get people some relief when the government says you can't go to work, they're trying to put in other things that are totally unrelated. They're heartless. They're really heartless. And it's a shame. And this is part of the reason why they'll lose coming up here. They're going to lose not only the White House, obviously, but also the House. It's a wrap. Nancy Pelosi, you're done. You're finished. You're not even really accepted as the boss in the party. And then the country are seeing how this whole thing is playing out. They're like, nah, we don't want that. You need to go ahead and kick rocks, Nancy. Go home. We're going to not elect you anymore. But then again, she's in California, and people that like her may be the ones to keep her in office. But as far as anywhere else in the country, that Nancy Pelosi thing is not going to work out too well. So she would not be able to be the Speaker of the House because they won't have the majority anymore. The Democrats will have the majority in the House, in the Senate, in the presidency. And this will be the case for many years to come. Supreme Court justices will get those. Ruth Bader Ginsburg should not be going anywhere. You know, I thought she was a hologram before. She probably a hologram for real right now. If you've seen her in the past 8 months, you let me know. You definitely won't see her. You won't see her anymore until like next year. Okay. If you see her anymore again, it won't be till next year for sure. They got to keep her in the hydrobaric chamber to keep her away from all the stuff that's going on. You understand what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Hillary is running, but we already in almost in April. We're already in April. Do you think she's going to come out of the cut and just run? I mean, if she were to announce like late last year, early this year, I'm like, okay, but I'm not really sure. Who do you think will be his VP pick? Will the VP pick do more speaking in public than Joe Biden? Probably so. They'll have to, or she'll have to. They're talking about getting Keisha Lance Bottoms, who is the current mayor of Atlanta. Big Mama's gonna be mad about that. Stacey Abrams, M1 Abrams tank, because she thinks she won the governorship of Georgia, although she didn't. How are you gonna run a campaign of being anti-gun in Georgia? Like, that's just not gonna cut it. You trying to rely on the black Democratic vote in Atlanta to win you the vote for the entire Georgia. But the problem is that even a lot of black folks who are Democrat stomped down Stone Cold Obama supporters in Georgia, got their guns. Okay, they're gonna shoot you if you come into their house. They got all kind of guns. You got some of us that still go hunt and stuff like that. Because you're in the South. Don't forget that. You might be in a liberal city or liberal voting city in Atlanta, but you're still in the South. Don't forget that. You can't run on an anti-gun campaign in the South. But anyway, she'll be mad that she was not given the nod. But you can't have this big wrestler-looking lady out there in the campaign trail. It's bad for optics. It is what it is. The same kind of way that having this old, decrepit man is bad for optics as well. You got to have somebody that looks like they have some kind of spirit. They're, are a little bit exuberant. Trump is not a spring chicken, but he does not appear to be decrepit like Joe Biden. And like I said, it's really a crying shame that they got the man out there like that. He should be getting some kind of treatment for his obvious conditions rather than being trotted out there like Weekend at Bernie's, trying to get a few votes to the Democratic Party, although they know it's still going to not actually work out. Alrighty. Eddie B says, ABL, speaking of not all there, you saw Pelosi yesterday shaking and blinking her eyes, starting to stare to the right when attempting to answer questions. I did see that, Eddie. Yes, I did. And she's been doing that for a while. She's too old. She's 78. It's like, okay, at a certain point, are you going to retire? Like, I'm not just going to be, ageist, but you have to recognize when you are declining, when your cognitive function is just not really there the way it used to be. Just like this guy that confronted Joe Biden about his age at one of his events, probably about 2 months ago. He was like, look, I'm not going to vote for you because, number one, you're too old. The guy was 83. He was like, look, I'm 83. You're almost old as I am. And I know when I'm getting older, I'm starting to lose some of my function I had when I was a younger man. So if you're almost my age, I know you are losing some of your function as well. So I don't want you to be the president. It is what it is. It's simple. And I think the same thing can be said about Nancy Pelosi. She's not really all the way there. The shaking and the way she talks, like really disjointed. The thoughts aren't really connecting together. The same thing as Joe Biden. And it's weird. She'll turn 80 tomorrow. Oh my goodness. Wow. 80 years old. Come on. The teeth, the dentures all over the place. It's like, what's the point in getting polygrip? I'm 80 years old, and so what? That's pretty much what's going on with that. But people, when they start to get to advanced age, if they recognize that they're not really the same as they were years ago, and they cannot perform the same as they did, should go ahead and retire. And just like guys when they're playing basketball, football, baseball, hockey, tennis, lacrosse, field hockey, soccer, whatever it is, when they get to be 36 years old, and their knees are aching every day, and their back is aching every day, and they got all kind of surgery on their labrum, on their ACL, on their pinky finger, on this, that, the third. They should say, you know what? Okay, it's time I just reevaluate here and hang up my cleats, hang up my basketball shoes, hang up my X, Y, and Z athletic apparel because I can't do it anymore. I got to go ahead and retire. Simple. It ain't nothing else to it. If you can't do the job anymore, go ahead and fall back, do something else. And I'm not really sure. I'm about to say I don't know why they're doing it. I know why they're doing it. To keep power, to consolidate power, to keep being in that position. That's why they're doing it. but they shouldn't be. It's really unfair to the American people. Oh man, Rolly Bird, Trump is going to have a field day with Joe Biden. It's going to be unfair. Like I've said before, it'd be like prime Mike Tyson. I'm talking about 1988, cocaine's all in the air in Vegas. You know, he is in there with no cape on, just a pair of shorts, the whole thing, coming into the ring, knocking out some random nobody from the street that's trying to get this fight check to pay their rent. That type of thing is going to be going on. It'd be unpleasant to watch. Like I said, I don't want Joe Biden to be running, because putting him in a debate ring with Trump it'd be a massacre. It won't even be something that's fun. It won't be fun to watch. You know, I enjoyed seeing Trump debate people in 2016, that campaign cycle, because you had some qualified men and women that ran against him. You had Ben Carson, you had Jeb, you had Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Carly Fiorina, what's my man's name? Rick Perry. You had some guys that were qualified to be up there with him having a debate. So it was not just like a slaughter. It was an actual fight. But Joe Biden, I mean, come on. Even Hillary Clinton was better. Hillary Clinton was a good debate, because Hillary, although she's a demon, worse than Nancy Pelosi by 10-fold or a millionfold, is no moron. Not at all. So it was good to see them debate. And she was still sharp mentally, although physically she was like losing it. She was still kind of sharp mentally. But Joe Biden, physically not there, mentally not there, just a shell of it for himself. But it is what it is. Thank y'all for joining. I definitely appreciate you. If you like what you're hearing so far, hit the like button, hit the share button, do all that good stuff. And, I almost forgot about Harvey Weinstein. Now, you guys heard that Harvey Weinstein caught the virus in the penitentiary. Do you guys believe that this is just a coincidence, that he just happened to catch it? They said there was an outbreak at Rikers. That's where he was before he came to the penitentiary in Buffalo. It's called WEND. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. WENDE. Correctional facility in Buffalo, New York. That's where he tested positive. But he may have had it from Rikers, where there was an outbreak. Now, is it a coincidence that he has it? You know, knowing that going into jail, he was going to be at risk of having something happen to him, of being suicided. Is it a coincidence that he has it or no? I'm just trying to think. Should I put on my tinfoil hat and be like, yeah, this was a conspiracy, or no? I'm not really sure, but it's very convenient, ain't it? He just got locked up. All of a sudden, now he has a virus that could kill him. All right. And it specifically is really taking out the older people that already get health problems. And Harvey Weinstein has health problems, obviously. Man can barely walk. You know, he looks like terrible. He's like 68, looks 88. You understand what I'm saying? So is it a coincidence, or am I just looking too much into it? I'm not really sure. Is it Hillary, Charlie, that gave him the virus? Or is it her that made the virus be so? That's possible. And you know what? They'll try to say, if he dies, they'll be like, you know what? Well, he had the virus, and he got the almost said pneumonia. He got pneumonia and then died. That's what they'll say. If they say that, I will not be surprised at all. I'll be like, yep, that's how they're going to take him out. It would be, nobody would be surprised. They wouldn't be like, oh, wow, is that already? They'd be like, well, it took him long enough. He survived in the jail cell, which was kind of surprising in Rikers. But then when he goes to the penitentiary, he dies. Jeffrey Epstein all over again. Jeffrey Epstein had a lot of dirt on a lot of people. You're talking about heads of state, Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew, possibly Emmanuel Macron, Slick Willie Bill Clinton. It's like, nope, you got to go. Harvey Weinstein, same thing. You got dirt on Oprah. I mean, come on. How do you think you're going to survive in jail when, if you snitch on some people, you can get out? Nope. Now, the virus is not a get out of jail card for him. It could be. That's a good point, Paul, because some inmates are getting let go because of the virus. because they don't want them to, I guess, be incubators or spread it in the penitentiary. Because if you're in jail, it's easy to spread it like that because you're in tight quarters. The staff as well, they could be at risk of getting it. And some of them already got it, like at Rikers. So some of them are getting released, but I'm not really sure that applies to Harvey Weinstein. Tekashi 6ix9ine, the rapper who's in jail right now on some gang-related stuff, he petitioned to get out of jail because of the coronavirus and got denied. So I'm not really sure that'll let Harvey Weinstein out. It could happen, but I'm not really sure that'll be the case. Yeah, but either way it goes, I'm ready to go ahead and have this whole thing be over with. Trump was talking about Easter. He liked for it to be over with. That might not be the actual date. It could be earlier than that because the first of the month is coming. It's coming. And 1 week from today, the 1st is going to be here. If you go to any store on the 1st, or really the 5th or the 6th or the 7th, bring your gat if you can. Bring your weapon, a knife, mace, gun. Protect yourself because it's going to be crazy out here. The rent is going to be an issue. It's going to be an issue, and I'm not really sure if everybody will be able to take care of the situation. You know, some landlords are going to be like, look, okay, the virus took your job. That's fine. But I got bills too. So what's up? I got bills too. So what are we going to do? Okay. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me see if I can pull this one up. This is pretty much what it might be on the 1st of the month. That's pretty much what's going on. You're having a stare off. Like, what are we going to do here? Like, I don't got it. So what you going to do? That's pretty much what's going to happen on the 1st. And it may be a little bit more than that. It may be some violent crime. I don't know what's going to happen. But these checks or the, things, the block being lifted, that's going to happen sooner than later because the money got to keep coming in for sure. Alrighty. But we got a few calls to get to, I'm sure. Super chats on deck first before we get to the calls. Thank you to Red Dog who says, ABL of the channel. Thank you for the super chat and your very kind words. Most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to Jessica Domin who says, did you see Joe Biden has a YouTube channel and live stream sometimes? I did not see that. It's very interesting. Joe Biden live streaming might not be a good idea for him. For us, it's a great idea, but for him, it might not be a good idea at all. Alrighty. Thank you. Let me get this. Okay. Alrighty, we got it. Got some good tea right here. All right. But I've not seen his channel at all. But for him to live stream might not be a good idea because he can barely talk in a short period of time. So to do live stream stuff might not be a good idea. If he does like little short stuff where he can just read for like 2 minutes, that might be okay. But anything else, I'm not really a fan. Shout out to Matthew who says 60% vote can suspend rules. DNC can nominate anyone. Alrighty. You talking about Joe Biden? Like you talking about anybody that is the candidate right now? Who are they going to put in if not Joe Biden? And really, they should have put somebody else in there before now because the longer you keep Joe Biden in there, the harder it will be to sell somebody else. In my humble opinion, it could be wrong. Shout out to ADB who says, ABL, if this COVID-19 situation is cleared up over the next couple of months and the stimulus plan works and the economy takes off, it's over for socialist Democrats. 100%. Absolutely. I think that the virus will be gone by mid-April. It'll start to get warm. It'll be over. It's already over in China. Or not over, but it's already pretty much like not there as much as it was in China, South Korea. So I think by mid-April, it'll be gone. And it's going to be a roaring economy because the economy, let's not forget, it was doing very well before this whole thing happened. The unemployment was low. You had high optimism. Things were going. You had all kind of new businesses, new this, new that. Things were going very well. We can get right back to that as soon as we get the restrictions lifted and continue normal life. Thank you to Kev Cleveland who says, what would you do about the illegals going on a hunger strike? I was hard to bust up and send them home. Exactly. If they don't want to eat, that's fine. That's their business. Freedom of choice, right? You got the freedom to do what you want to do. If you don't want to eat, that's your problem. I can't force you to eat. I'm not going to be like, please eat a sandwich. Please eat some barbecue chicken. Nah. If you don't want to eat, okay, cool. That's one less mouth to feed. Simple. I ain't gonna do nothing. They can return back to where they came from. Simple. I mean, if you want to come into the country, do it the right way. Don't come in here illegally and then make demands talking about I'm illegal. I have rights. No, you're not a person that has rights. I have rights. You don't, sir. You can go back to wherever you came from. If you don't want to eat, that's fine. If I bring you a chicken sandwich, you don't want it, I'll eat it right in front of you. How about that? But thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. If you like what you're hearing so far, like the video and also share the video as well. Let's get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Now, somebody said, why do certain cases keep rise like in the Philippines? Well, cases can rise when there's more testing. Just because there's more cases does not mean there's necessarily more infections. Or there could be more infections, but the number of new cases may not be indicative of the infection rate. You understand? Like, let's say you have a particular, let's say Manila, right? You have 50 people that got tested. Out of that, you had 10 that were positive. Then you have 5,000 tested, and then 100 were positive. I mean, like, you're not, the rate of infection is not the same. There may be more that have it, but the rate is different. And we see that right here in America. The more we test people, the lower the actual infection rate goes because we have a broader view of who actually has it. And I think people already had the virus in January and December because we don't really understand how many people come from the Chinese continent, from mainland China, every day to the U.S. before the travel ban started. And they're all over the United States. You would never know where they are. So you probably already had it like in December and January. People are coming out and saying they already had it and beat it. Some may have died from it already, but we don't know anything about that because we weren't really having our ear to the ground as much as we were before. But let's get to the calls. Nippin, what's going on?
Apart from the fact that I'm likely to be in here for the next 3 weeks.
So is there a 3-week lockdown in UK?
Only, well, all offices are shut. Well, actually, you can only go out if you really need to go to work. Grocery shopping. Put it this way, I can't see my friends for the next 3 weeks, possibly longer.
Wow. That's crazy. Now, how are they really going to enforce that? Because if you just out and okay, but see,
fines.
Now, if you're out and like, how are they going to do that? Because you can just be in your car driving. Are they going to pull you over because you might?
That's allowed.
Okay.
That's allowed. You're just not allowed to be outside.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. Now, I'm hearing that you can't be in a gathering of more than 2. Is that true?
That's true.
Wow.
It is.
So why did they change it? Because I was hearing that you guys were just trying to do the whole social distancing and keeping everything open, but now all of a sudden you can't.
It wasn't working.
It wasn't working. So what? You had more. You had more cases happening.
Yeah. It's fluctuating in Italy now. For 2 days straight, they were going down, but there were some slightly more numbers today than there were yesterday. But I think Italy are going to start going down soon.
Okay.
So yeah, next 3 weeks, self-quarantine.
Yeah, that sucks. So, I mean, how about the stores looking? Are you still able to get products that you need? Like, what's going on with the stores?
Yeah, that's still open. General food stores like we call it Asda over here. Your Walmart. Have you heard of Tesco?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, Tesco's stay open. There's a place called Sainsbury's, a bit like Walmart. They're open too. Morrison's. Yeah.
Okay, I
All
see.
the grocery stores are still open, but everywhere else is shut.
Now, are most jobs shut down as well?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like only the
But you
essential.
have to work from home. Yeah.
Okay,
You need to those who can well you most jobs are at home.
got
The
you.
people who can work from home should really work from home.
Right,
But yeah,
I got you.
that's about it.
Well, hopefully, and sooner than that, because I think once it starts to get warm, like once you get more into April and it starts to get warm, you're gonna see the viruses start to drop off. So hopefully they end this whole thing before the 3 weeks. That's what I'm hoping, but you never know what's
I
going
don't think so. I don't think they'll do it.
No.
And that whole like they started closing restaurants and all that, they're gonna review that a week later after the initial lockdown period. So they're gonna I think they'll review it on the 20th of April.
Okay.
So yeah. By the way, you said the China cases were going down. But the Chinese always lie about the stuff going on. What makes this any different?
Well, the thing about China is that they are already going back to business. They're opening up factories again, so they're going back to business. And we already know that China, they're the ones that released the virus. They're the ones that affected the whole world. So if you go back to business, people still have it, and you get more people that get infected as a result of the factories being back open that are abroad. That's going to be even more problems for them. So I think that the factories being open is an indicator that things are becoming back to normal. South Korea, same thing. It's starting to be less there. I think as it gets warmer, we're going to see less of these cases. The thing about Italy is that they got a very large older population, and their lifestyles a lot of times they're not suitable for the virus to not spread and be very dangerous.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So yeah, it's becoming. I think Italy will start going down soon because the virus was showing slightly higher numbers today than yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're going down sooner rather than later. But yeah, hope the weather helps too. So yeah, Harvey Weinstein has it.
He has it, as he does.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be one of those people who says I hope he, I actually wish him a speedy recovery. I mean, I don't get it twisted. I hate the man with a passion. I just don't wish death upon anyone. If you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I understand. 100%. I get you.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope he makes a 100% recovery. Don't get this twisted, Harvey. I still dislike you with a passion.
Right. I'm with you.
So yeah, and the Easter opening, some controversy with that.
Yeah.
Apparently, Donald Trump said we should be open by Easter, and the left are going haywire.
Yeah, they're going haywire because they're saying, oh, that's not the medical professional's opinion. You can't just put a date on it. But at a certain point, we're going to go back open. We can't just stay locked up in our houses, not working, not producing, not fueling the economy for this long. Because if we're here too long, the effects from that will be worse than the virus could be. So we don't want that to happen. We want to have Americans do well, not do worse because of an overreaction to the virus. So I think Easter really is too far. I want it to be open right now. I say April 1st, but Easter I think is fair. Although that's not necessarily that's not necessarily the day that we may be open. He just wants it to be open by then. But hopefully we do.
Well, I hope so too. I was trying to share my screen to show you some like really crazy article saying we could be in here for the next 5 years. For the next 12 months in social lockdown. You know what? If it goes to 12 months, I don't care if it goes to 12 months. I am going to protest.
Nah, I'm with you. I'm right there, man. I'm right there with you. But hey, I got a lot of calls on the line, so I'm gonna get to those and keep the show rocking. So thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Nice. Yeah, it was nice speaking to you, ABL.
No doubt, man. Always.
Yeah. I shall speak to you on Sunday.
All right, Sunday your time, Saturday my time. I got you, boss.
Yep. I'll speak to you then.
All right, now take care.
Peace.
Peace. All right, let's get to a few more calls here. The number to call is 434-658-1220. If you want to do Skype like my man Nippin just did, there's an email for that in the description box below. All right, Matt, what's happening?
Hey, ABL, what are you doing?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Hey, I don't think the whole rent thing is going to be an issue.
You said rent? What rent?
Any rent. Everyone's acting like there's going to be a shortage of rent payers, rent providers. Our city had even instituted a moratorium on evicting people, and I think the opposite's going to happen. I think there's going to be a shortage of renters, and if property owners were smart, they would be going around negotiating a lower rent with their tenants right now just to lock them into a lease. I'm month to month on 2 different properties right now. And, I would love to sign a longer lease at a lower value right now.
Do you have rental properties?
I don't own the properties. I'm getting ready to go look at another building tomorrow. And, I'm right here in Seattle. And I'm going to go say, hey, I want half of what you were asking for last month, and I'm going to pay 6 months in advance.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be hard for them to refuse it because they need the money.
They need the money. It's not, we've got businesses like I think I told you right before I went to a plane on Miami a few podcasts ago that I'm looking at a local restaurant. It was just packed to the gills with people. This guy, he's in an ironclad triple net lease. The guy that owns the restaurant, they charge $100 for a steak. It's ridiculous. The place was packed. He had 200 and something workers, and he's down to 15 now, according to the news.
Wow. You said from 200 to 15? 200
to 15.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, we have a service-based economy, so when the demand for services and just consumerism in general, I'd say consumer products, but we don't produce the products. When that goes down, there's going to be a lot of this meat that gets cut off, and the fat gets cut off the meat. So the 737 MAX isn't going to fly. I mean, it would be a tremendous amount of money and effort to get those back. They didn't even pickle the planes correct. You got Amazon that they're laying off as fast as they're hiring, so that's a big trouble out here.
So okay, I heard they were hiring like 100,000 workers, so they're also laying off. How does it make any sense?
So the post office is going bankrupt.
Yeah.
Like they're literally, the U.S. Postal Service is literally, months away from going tits up. They're almost done, and when you look at what Amazon first made their money by being able to avoid state income tax. That's how Amazon got so big so fast and so well, is they were able to avoid that. And now that those loopholes, have been closed, so that like this state income tax albatross stuff has been closed down, they're really relying on this bidding war between what really started with the United States Postal Service, as what I would say is like a pseudo WPA program to deliver packages for less money than it costs you to do. United States Postal Service, FedEx, and UPS have all been kind of bandwagoning on that, to the extent that Amazon was trying to deliver their own packages. That's why you see a lot of these last mile vehicles running around the bigger cities. They can't do it. You can't take on market share during a bear. They're going to have to lay off, and especially when people can't buy the products that they're selling. It's doom. And we're all socialists.
But the question is, how are they also hiring people if they got to lay off?
So they've said this for years. If you look at the Seattle's population, any year over year, you look at King County, you look at Snohomish County, there's been no inflection point in the population. There's been no more gain year over year. There was a big boom in the 60s out here. But what Amazon does, they hire you, but it's a damn meat market. They turn you over as fast as they hire you. So the net numbers are not more, they're taking on more businesses. So, the numbers that Whole Foods used to get for hiring is now, aggregated onto Amazon's as well, as they take on market share. But, you can't keep taking on market share in a bear economy.
Yeah.
So that's all I got. I think Trump's not doing a very good job with that stimulus. I would not even put a stimulus out there. You look at Warren G. Harding and the Spanish flu, the Federal Reserve did nothing. Warren G. Harding did nothing, even though Hoover wanted him to.
But okay, if you don't do anything, then so if you were in Trump's shoes, what would you do? Just nothing at all?
Almost nothing, yeah.
Here's the situation. People, are freaking out all over the place, all over the world, and then the United States, they do nothing, and then the death rate keeps going up. Like I said before, they're having this ticker on every channel of the deaths that happen. Every death, every time somebody dies, they would say it's Trump's fault. So, and then on top of that, the people would be seeing this and be freaking out, panicking. So how do you calm the civil unrest that will happen as a result, and a negative press that would come, which would damage the administration and possibly usher in people that could be worse, like your Joe Biden and whatnot in 2020 election?
Yeah, I don't think Joe is gonna make it to the convention. But the problem is that you look at Denmark in 2015. Denmark paid down the deficits. They did what they had to do leading into a bear. We didn't do that, and what's kind of ended up going on is that there needs to be a price finding exercise, and there needs to be car salesmen that need to become car mechanics, because people aren't going to buy new cars. They're going to want their old ones maintained. There's going to, like I said, with the rents and mortgages, all those things need to be renegotiated, and that price finding exercise has to happen as fast as it can. Me working in aviation, there actually is a dollar amount to life. We figure that out. There's actuaries. Every health insurance company figures that out. If we can flatten the bell curve a little bit, I also think we can plateau it. And in terms of getting back to work, I think if you're under 50, you should really say, hey, I could catch the disease and I risk X, but I need to make Y money, and people need to make that decision. This idea that a $2,000 check is waiting in the wings, it's fundamentally changing our behavior, and it's.
But see, the thing about it is the shutdowns have not come from the federal government; they come from the state government. So, in LA County, they said you can't leave your house. You're mandated to not leave, and if you do, you're gonna have a fine and everything else. So, for those people, what do you do? Like they're being told by the government, you can't leave your house, you can't work. I mean, you might want to work, you might want to go get money, but you can't because the government says you can't. So, what do you do for them? It just kind of in the cold. What happens?
You can civil disobedience. That's sort of what happens. But the $2,000 check is coming from the Fed. I mean, they're going to print that.
I mean, because you can't just say, all right, the state told you can't work, you can't do anything, and nothing will be given. It's just kind of if it were a matter of being able to decide if you want to go or not, that's one thing, but the government says you can't. So it's kind of weird, but hey, I got to cut it right here. I got a lot of calls online. Thank you for the call, man.
Peace. I love your show, man, and please keep up the great podcast.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, cheers.
All right, thanks to my man Matt for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. But yeah, if the government says that you can't go to work, if you leave your house, it's going to be a problem. The police are going to come get you, this, that, and the third. It's like, all right, you telling me I can't work, so you got to be able to compensate me for that. If you don't want me to ask you for something, let me go out there and work. Let me make money. Let the economy flow. If you're stopping the economy, you can't just leave me in the lurch. That's unfair. You deny me my rights and not even paying me for it. I could sue you for that. I mean, people might sue LA and other people, like with the mayor, the government, whatever, because of lost wages, because of not being able to go out there and work, they may actually sue. We'll see how that goes. Let's get to the next call. 702, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yes, hey, Mr. Logan, this is the Red Bill Barista from San Francisco.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Oh, well, it's another wonderful day in San Francisco. Today I got fired, and I am glad. Guy walks into the shop with the filthiest anti-Trump T-shirt you can ever read. I can't even tell you on the show what it said. That's how bad it was. The manager that I'm working with, he goes around and he says to the guy, hey, like your shirt, and he gives a thumbs up. So I'm standing there, and then finally I tell the guy goes, you know, I haven't had TP in a week, and I don't know what to use. So I gave him one of our napkins with our logo on, and I said, here, you can wipe it with this. Well, the manager didn't like it, and he told me to get lost. I'll tell you, it was very liberating. So what happened is the same night, that was yesterday, the same night, what they're having in San Francisco now is what's known as Corona parties. Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't.
What it is, yes, what it is do-goody liberals have spaces in their apartments and houses set up so you're 6 feet apart, and they're having socially acceptable food for the coronavirus. What the hell does even that mean? So my brother-in-law comes over to them. He goes, come on, you look depressed. Why don't you come over? I said, fine. I went over there. The liberal, he looks like John Lennon that got smashed by a truck. He comes over there and he goes, it's nice to see you, nice to see you. So I said, well, it's, you know, wish it was mutual, but it isn't. I sit down there. He goes, no, 6 feet apart, 6 feet. And he goes, today we're going to watch season 2 of Friends. Jesus, it's like being in prison. I told the guy, are you kidding? This is the lamest thing. My brother-in-law turns to him and says, hey, can I approach a couple of those hot girls over there? He goes, yeah, 6 feet. My brother-in-law goes, what the hell does that mean, 6 feet? You have hot chicks here and you can't get within an inch of them? Forget it, I'm out of here. We walked out. The guy goes, oh, stay safe. I told him, hey, buddy, let me tell you something. I touched everything in your apartment. I didn't even put sanitizer on. And then I walked out. I'll tell you, this place is becoming sickening. Now about the stimulus package. I'll tell you something. That has so much pork in it that no Muslim would even go near it. It's ridiculous. Did you read it, Mr. Logan? They are giving $28 million to the Hollywood industry in Ohio to get them through this corona thing. Giving money to Hollywood? Giving money to people like Disney? They have $100 billion. What do they need it for? This is ridiculous. And now they came out today that the money, I don't know if you've heard, Mr. Logan, but the money, the stimulus money, now to be delivered months late. Have you heard that?
I have, yes.
Yes. What the hell? What do I need it 6 months from now? I'll be out on the street getting eaten by maggots. Are they kidding? Give me the cash. I'll tell you something. If it was one of the NBA or one of those NFL players that wanted his money, they'd be delivered in a wheelbarrow the next day. But for the average person, you can't even get your money. What do I need it 6 or 7 months from now? Geez, I won't be able to afford anything. This is crazy and ridiculous. And this thing about the coronavirus that it attacked 7-year-olds. Let me tell you something, Mr. Logan. If that was the truth, then 3/4 of the Congress would be wiped out by now. I mean, look at Maxine Waters. That woman's face has been caught by gravity. Jesus, her lips hang so low that well, I won't even say it, but imagine what I was thinking. I'll tell you something. She doesn't get the corona. Now, I'm not wishing it on anybody, but if it attacked 70 and 80-year-olds, wouldn't it stand that 3/4 of Congress would be decimated by now? And as far as celebrities getting it, Prince Charles got it. Who gives a damn if Prince Charles got it? So what? And now Tom Hanks, oh, they're recovering in their mansions. I feel sorry for them. singing songs like Imagine All the People, No Possessions. Are they out of there for Miley Cyrus? What the hell is she famous for in the first place? She's singing about Imagine No Possessions in a mansion that has 28 rooms? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. This is ridiculous. San Francisco, by the way, Mr. Logan, is looking so bad right now. For example, there is so much crap piles near Pier 39 that even the dogs won't crap over there anymore. It's so bad, it stinks. Now, literally, London, she's a lesbian, so I don't understand how she bred breed. I don't understand how that woman is letting this go. Miss Mayor, whatever you are, get out there. Start cleaning it off the streets. You gotta see these things. The whole place looks like a disaster area. And I'll tell you one last thing. All these liberal, by the way, Mr. Logan, please, for 1 minute. I know you don't like to talk about other people online, but I saw something so reprehensible. I won't say the name, but all I'll say, there's a man with initials of MC that hosts a show with a blonde woman. That's all I'm going to say. He comes on the video and he says, all I care about is my family, and if you have to go to work and catch the coronavirus, I'll tell you something. Why I like Republicans and why I like people, you have to understand that people have nothing now. And it's not only about your kids and my kids, it's about everybody. And I don't want to sound like a liberal jerk right now at a Corona party, but this is ridiculous. People have to stick together. Corona party. I'll tell you something. The next time at a Corona party, I'm going to bring 6 Hells Angels there and kick the living guts out of all these liberals. What do they mean 6 foot? Who wants to go to a party watch season of friends and 6 feet apart from the nearest person? It's like being in a dungeon. Now, Mr. Logan, I want to say one thing. Congratulations to you for being very calm. Your videos are very nice. Me and my wife love to watch them. I don't really praise you that much. I know I go on in these rants, but my head is going to explode. It feels like I have mercury in it. Any day now, my head is going to explode. If I get the coronavirus, that'll be a release. I mean, but I want to say thank you, Mr. Logan, for everything that you do. Your audience is great. They have very good opinions on there. I like the guys that get on your phone calls. You let everybody speak. And unlike a lot of the other people, like Mr. Beanie Boy that has that razor beard that comes on, he thinks he's God's gift for the internet, or the other hosts, at least you reach out to the common man. Thank you, Mr. Logan. And once again, have a great and now safe week.
Thank you for the call, man. Thank you. All right, that was my man, Red Pepperista. He is a regular caller. Shout out to him. Oh, man. Funny guy. Hilarious. You guys are telling you, the best callers, best audience, just the best in general. You know, I don't know what I'd do without you. But thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for watching. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658. There it is, 1220. And if you want to get in through Skype and be right here in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, there is an email for that in the description box below. But let's get to the next call here. 712, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Speaking with Alan, ABL. Number one, I want to say is I appreciate your show. It's excellent.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I got a little bit of feedback in the background.
Okay, I'm getting it out of there. Okay, hey, listening to you, I can basically, I believe you're a very intelligent man. I kind of want your input on a few things here, especially of the Pelosi, Wicked Witch of the West, flying on a broomstick to stop this stimulus. And I did notice 2 wish list things I kind of want to talk about, see what your thoughts are on it. Okay, number one is basically, why is she so, wants this, like, digital currency? Can you explain that a little bit to me? Let's look at the pros and cons on that.
I don't know much about it. I've been hearing about digital currency, but I'm not really sure what she would be referring to, if it's going to be like blockchain or something that they make up. I don't know too much about it, so I couldn't really go into the pros and cons. I need to do some research on it.
Okay, I mean, here's what I've heard a little bit of the pros on it. Let's say pros for instance, you're going to eliminate currency, which basically means our cash in our hand. So basically you'd be cutting costs for the Treasury of printing money, and also that would also help from forgery too, is what we understand. Hopefully, I mean, I don't know all the facts, but I'm assuming part of this is true. Let's see here. It goes also to maybe protect inflation a little bit, the way I understand it. Maybe that way, I mean, if I had cash, for instance, if I had cash and the government prints a lot of money, well, basically it's going to inflate, but by buying into this, that it protects a little bit. That's the way I understand it now. I don't know all of it either. So
yeah, I mean, is it going to be U.S. currency? Because the thing about it is, the reality is that most currency is digital anyway. As far as the U.S. currency you have in your pocket, most of it is digital. I think like 98% of all your money is digital. Only a handful of it is actually physical. If everybody went to the bank and tried to get cash out, it couldn't do it because it's just not there. Most of it is digital anyway, so I'm not really sure what they're talking about here with this particular thing.
So on the other hand, against it in a way, I'm going to say is that, okay, if we're digital, if we go to digital, that the government could track us, maybe what we buy and stuff.
Oh, okay. So basically, no more cash. You couldn't use cash at all.
Yes.
Oh.
Because you notice, just to throw real, I heard something here today that I don't know. I'm not too sure if it's true or not, but the Federal Reserve is going to be going to a negative percentage instead of a positive. I mean, if you understand negative banking, for instance, a good example would be like Japan. Quite a while back, they went into a negative, and basically the biggest things that people start buying in Japan was safes. So basically the reason why they bought safes, they took the cash out and basically put in the safe, because basically if they left it in the bank, you end up getting charged from the bank because you got your money in the bank. Do you follow that?
Okay, yeah.
Some European companies or countries are doing this too. So you got. So on that is that I'm just saying that if we are all digital, the government can track what we buy. So if I buy a gun, they won't like me to have a gun. Now they know that I have a gun.
Yeah.
Do you follow me? And also this way the government could just say, okay, I'm going to just, instead of printing new money, I'm going to create new money.
And then also it could be like China, where you have the social credit system. Now, if you do things they don't like, if they're observing you, if they're monitoring you, and you do something that's against kind of like social code, they can restrict your access to your money. They already do it right now with banks and ATM machines. You know, you have a limit. Sometimes how much money you could take out at a particular point in time. It can cut you off. They tell you can't buy this, you can't buy that. So yeah, it's just a way of control. It's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, I mean, if you could do kind of see what you can figure out a little bit what they mean by it. Because when Pelosi brings it up, I got a red flag that goes up right away. And then there was also another thing that caught me was same-day voter registration and voting, same-day voter registration and voting. How do you understand this?
Yeah, so it seems like you could just show up to the voting place on election day and register to vote right there, which is crazy.
But she was talking about, the way I understand a little bit of this, is that they can have people go out in the public and basically, because of the China virus here, that they can basically register people, vote them, have them vote at the same time, and then these people can they're already doing it kind of in California, can take it to the polling place to where it can be counted. Isn't that kind of like not bending at all? I mean, of all the states, pretty much all of our states don't do that except California. I mean, to me, that's like almost you can almost get away with fraud on that, couldn't you?
That's what it sounds like.
I mean, I'm just looking into this, to me, where they're saying California's already kind of doing this. Like, she wants this all nationwide. Why? Is it so that she can stay in power? Where they can get a bunch of corrupt people in there, basically running these. And what makes a difference if I went out there or basically know that a bunch of neighbors or people ain't going to vote, and I just say, okay, I just want you to go ahead and register. I'm just going to go ahead and make one up to where it favors my candidate. I mean, to me, that's like she's really trying to corrupt the whole system.
Yeah, it is kind of that's kind of what it sounds like for sure. But I got a lot of calls online. I'm gonna get to a few more. So I thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
You bet. I appreciate you too. Thanks, ABL.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right, shout out to the caller. We'll certainly appreciate them. Let's get to a few more here. And let's go 317 on the line. Who wants to speak it to?
ABL, how's it going? This is Corey Roberts in Central Indiana, Indianapolis.
All right, man. What's going on? Everything's good over here.
Yeah, man. How you doing? That you got your hazmat suit, man?
Nah, no hazmat suit for me. I think I'll be just fine. I'm not worried about it. I'm seeing all kind of makeshift hazmat suits around here, though. People got masks and gloves and the whole 9 yards.
I'm wearing my hazmat suit right now, man. That's why I might sound a little muffled. I got mine out right now, sitting in the garage, man. You want to talk about some crazy stuff? When I used to go on your show way back when you guys started back in 2015, I was an independent financial planner. But now I run a company. I run the state of Indiana for emergency medical transport for a company called Massa Global, and we do ground and air ambulance transport. And man, the actual the panic, and I'm sure that you're seeing this too, but I think the panic's worse than the virus.
Correct. 1,000%.
Oh my God. It's I never say anything like this. I'm 42 years old, and a lot of our my division handles our seniors. It handles the 65 and older crowd. And the interesting thing is, we can't right now. We can't go do presentations and seminars at restaurants. We can't go get in front of people. We can't go to their house. We have to do webinars, and we have to do phone conferences. So the interesting thing is, most of the seniors that I am talking to are like taking this on the arm. They're just kind of looking at it like, yeah, well, But I ask them all the same question. I'm like, have you ever seen anything this ridiculous when it comes to like a virus or something along those lines? And I'm talking to people in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and sometimes their 90s. And they're all saying the same thing. Never.
Right.
Never seen anything like this.
I mean, I think the problem is that social media has become a part of a lot of people's lives. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. And then the news cycle, they're kind of like trying to cash in on what social media is doing by this constant coverage of it, by sensationalism. Not like what they did before. Like before, you had sensationalized things, sensationalized articles and stories, but not like the way it is now. 24-hour news cycle all the time. You could be up in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning. The news is on. Coronavirus. All over everywhere. You're just surrounded by it. And it kind of becomes a domino effect. Everybody's thinking the same thing. Everybody's afraid. Everybody's panicking. And others must react to the panicking and the fear. And it's just a never-ending cycle.
Well, that's the interesting part. The interesting part is that one person's panic turns into two people's panics. And then those two people's panics turn into the three people's panics. And then it just kind of progresses. Does that sound like something we're talking about?
Yes.
Anthony?
Yes.
Sounds like a mind virus, doesn't it?
Correct. Yes, absolutely.
Sounds like a mind virus. And that's pretty much what this is. And, again, me working nearly a decade in planning and watching the markets, and I still focus on those really closely. And the markets do give you indicators. They give you indicators. Yesterday was a fantastic day. It was the best day percentage-wise we've ever had since 1933. Today we were up again today. NASDAQ was down a little bit. But there are some signs that we're going to break through this pretty quickly. Pretty quickly. And quickly meaning, not meaning it's going to take us, several months to kind of shuffle through all this shenanigans. It's not going to take that long. Once they get the bill passed, they get that through the Congress, and they stop arguing over airplane emissions, for crying out loud. Good Lord. The Democrats, the nice thing about a tragedy, when you have a crisis or a tragedy, it does something for people. And what it does is it reveals certain characteristics about people that are around you. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
It's basically a gaslight on a situation of people that are around that are not capable of handling their positions or handling their responsibilities, and they fall apart. And what you're seeing is a lot of parasitic behavior from a lot of people. I'm not talking about just job wise, but I'm talking about in Congress. And it's the majority of it, not all of it, because there are some Republicans that are, idiots too. A lot of it's coming from the left. They're trying to use this particular catastrophe, and that's pretty much what it is. I mean, you can't really term it anything else. They're trying to use this catastrophe to benefit themselves on things that make no sense.
Right. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. And, for just the average person, anybody listening to the show out there, pump your brakes a little bit, calm down, take a little bit of time, take this time while we're stationary, take a little bit of time to reflect, relax, calm down, get your health right, and just, understand exactly what we're contending with. So that's the beauty of what's going on right now. What's really happening is that we're getting a golden opportunity to really assess our issues and then be able to address those moving forward, because it's going to get back. I mean, when you have a damn near 12% day rise in the markets in one day, I mean, that shows you that there's some fear, but there's also some confidence, and things are going to start moving forward. So that is, I think that's the word of the day is be calm. Take things in stride, relax. Things will shake themselves out. And, panicking is not a good idea, because panic is a virus. It's going to infect everybody else around you.
Right. I'm with you.
Once you start, yeah, man. I mean, that's really all it is, bro.
Absolutely.
It's not that bad, man. It's not as bad as what is being reported. However, I will say this. I think the administration and their reaction to this problem, I think, was correct, because they know stuff we don't. They know something we do not.
I think you're right about that. I mean, they have inside information that we don't have. We're just kind of on the outside, kind of depending upon them to disseminate the information. Hey, man, thank you for the call. I got a lot of calls on the line. I'm going to get to a few more. Definitely appreciate you, boss.
Yep. Yeah, love you, man. Take care, bro.
All right, now, take care. All right, shout out to my man for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And I'm going to show you guys this picture right quick. This is a family in China. And the caption, this is on ABC News' Instagram page. Now, they're eating outside in a tent. And they're talking about they're trying to prevent the coronavirus. But I'm like, you have a mesh tent outside, and they're like elbow to elbow. So I'm not sure how that's going to prevent the virus, because if it's about them maybe having it, it's mesh. So whatever they're doing inside, like if somebody sneezes, that's going to escape. So I'm not really sure what the whole thing, just stay inside or stay close to your house or something. That mesh tent out, it might be for bugs or something, but I'm not really sure about the virus, how it's going to stop it from coming in there. It's kind of weird. I don't want to see that no more. Let's have this whole thing be over with, because I'm not trying to see these weird contraptions and stuff that people are trying to do to keep from getting the virus or to keep from spreading the virus. But let's get to some more calls. And we going to go to 617 in the line. Who am I speaking to?
What's going on, Ivan, man?
All righty, man. What's happening?
I guess you gotta hype the situation to get those subscribers, and then you gotta have the situation to get those make those sales, huh?
You said I gotta do what now?
You gotta hype it. You gotta hype the situation.
I gotta hype what?
The situation.
What? How am I hyping it? I'm trying to preach calm, because I don't want this to actually be a thing. I want it to be over with.
Okay. So your video this morning, and I think it was in the afternoon. I don't know when you posted, but I reviewed it. And you say that this is socialism, this is communism, this is nothing of that. This is nothing to do with socialism and communism.
Well, I think what I said was that right now what we're seeing is a preview of socialism. When you're talking about food shortages and stuff like that, that's what I said in the video. I know what I said.
No, but that's not what it is. It's just people buying a lot of stuff like any other time when we got a storm. I live in Boston. Every time there's a storm coming up, people go and freaking flew everything out of the shelf in the market.
So is there a curfew when there's a bad storm, or like days after a bad storm?
No, there's not a curfew. But
do they close gun stores in the bad storm?
No,
can you not go to work after a bad storm, days later?
So can I talk now?
I was just asking some questions, sir, listen to me. I was not finished talking, so now I'm finished. You can go.
Okay. So you know your history, because you don't really know your history. You're just an entertainer. I told you, I don't understand. You got to make
look. Don't sir. We don't got. Sir, listen to me. Let's not get into the insults. Let's just talk about sir. Listen. I'm not done. Just get into what you were going to say about what I was talking about in the video. Get to that.
Okay, so you say all that stuff. So you're talking about the curfew, and you're talking about the restrictions. You know what happened in 1918 with the Spanish flu pandemic. You will know that we did the same thing what we're doing now. You know the history. You go and read books. You go to PBS. You educate yourself. We did that, and it was the states who did it, not the federal government. And the reason is because they found out after the soldiers came back from World War I that they were infected. They didn't know what they were dying. We didn't have the information we have now. But the distancing was important, and they stopped the mobility. So we were congregating. People were infecting each other. I mean, there were many cases of scenarios of the governor of Philadelphia at that time. He had a parade. Everybody was shut down. Everybody shutting down except him. And him, I think, was 10 times higher, the people infected, and the mortality rate increased. And then after he learned that, New York, I think Boston, all of the states did the same thing that we're doing now. So this is nothing new. This shut down, they closed schools, they closed everything, they closed stores. So we've been through this before with the pandemic of the Spanish flu, 1918 to 1920. And we didn't have any information, so this is nothing new. We've been through this before, curfew, with all that stuff. We don't have curfew, actually, I'm in Boston. And we don't have curfew, but we've been to this before. The only thing people refuse to read, refuse to analyze things, and we got to learn from our history. That's the thing that people don't want to read. I don't know why, but
okay. So the question is, how long are we going to keep this whole thing going?
Now, according to Dr. Fauci, I'm not a scientist, but this is what he said. We are not doing enough testing. That's number one. We only have tests.
Sir, I had a question. Listen to me now. This is not your show. I had a question for you.
Okay.
How long will we keep this whole thing going?
I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I can't tell you.
How long should we keep it going? Like, I mean, like. No, sir. Listen. Listen to me. I'll put you on mute. I will direct the show. I'll let you talk. Now I'm going to direct the show. Now, here's the next question. How long can we afford to keep this whole thing going? Because some may say shut it down for the rest of the whole year. Can we afford to do that? At what point? At what point can we say let's go back to normal? Because there's got to be a cutoff at a certain point. Because if we don't go back to normal at a certain point, the quarantining and stuff like that will be worse than the virus itself.
No, that's not nothing. Nothing is true. Nothing what Trump says is true. There's no evidence of that. Let me tell you what Dr. Fauci said. And I listened to Dr. Fauci, and I can't remember the other lady's name that she's on the CBC. This is what they said. We need to increase the amount that I'm on. Hello?
Go ahead. Keep talking.
I'm on? Okay. We have to increase the amount of testing. Last time I checked the CDC website, we haven't tested enough people. I think we test like 86,000 people or less. So we need to increase the amount of testing. We have 350 million or probably something around there.
Okay.
So if we have 350 million, we haven't even tested a million people, or probably we got to test more now.
Okay, we got that point. Next point.
So we need to increase the amount of testing so we know who's sick, who's not sick, the age, if they are underlying condition. So then we could have enough data so we could make an assessment when we can reopen, when we could go back to business. How are we going to do it? That's what South Korea did. So we got to learn from South Korea. Instead, we have Trump running his mouth, say we should open in fucking Resurrection Day. We have this idiot running his mouth saying, why you don't get the testing up? Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, all those states. In order for you to get tested for the coronavirus, you got to have pneumonia. They won't test you, you don't have pneumonia. Boston, New York, you could talk to the doctor and go and get tested.
Now, is there a reason, listen, is there a reason why there's not as much testing?
Well, I don't know.
You don't know? So, I mean, you can't really criticize a place for, I'm not done talking. I need you to just chill out for a minute. You can't criticize a place if you don't know why they're not doing testing that they should. You got to have a reason. You can't just say, because they don't want to. Maybe there's not enough kits available. I'm not done talking. I'm not done talking. Maybe there's not enough kits available at these places to be able to test everybody that probably wants to be tested because people are freaking out. I think like 90%, as far as I have read recently, 90% of those that got tested were not even positive. People are just freaking out, wanting to see if they got it or not. So at a certain point, there's a number of kits that are out there that may be kind of in limited supply. So that's pretty much it. It's not like people just don't want to, it's that they can't.
Okay, so is the President of the United States is responsible of the nation? Why are you concerned more about opening he can't open anything anyway. It's the governor that makes the decision. But why your intentions are to open the country and instead to focus on what we need? Chris Cuomo from New York told him because he
all right, that's a question I'm going to answer because we don't got there for you to be editorializing. So the thing is, I'm concerned about getting Americans back to work because people are, I'm not done talking. I need you to be quiet. People got to get back to work because at a certain point, we can't keep this up. People are already losing their businesses. They're losing their jobs. And it's not like a matter of, well, the jobs will come back. It's temporary. People are losing their jobs permanently because if their employer goes out of business and files bankruptcy, it's over. It's a wrap. People are self-employed. They can't do that. People are losing an amount of money that cannot be recovered. The stimulus is okay and that's fine, but it's not going to be enough. And at a certain point, we got to get back to going. I mean, the flu kills everybody. We're talking about like 30,000 on average a year. Some are going to say, well, there's a vaccine, only 40% effective. People are going to get the flu. They're going to die every year. We can't just put the country on hold because some may catch the virus and pass away because that would be the equivalent of catching the flu and passing away. It ain't the same virus. I know that. Don't get it twisted. It's not true. I'm not done talking. I'm not done talking. I know it ain't the same thing, and that's fine. But at a certain point, we just got to be able to get beyond this and move on with our lives. That's it.
This virus is more infectious than this.
I just said it ain't the same thing. I just said it ain't the same thing, sir.
Ask them. Ask Italy.
A bunch of old people, a bunch of 80-year-old people. The average age of their deaths is like 82.
So why the flu did not kill them more then?
Well, do you know? I mean, just wait. Hold on. Wait, sir. Listen. Do you know how many have died from the flu in Italy this year?
Yes, way less than the.
Give me the number. Give me the number right now. Give me the number.
I don't have the number.
Exactly, because you don't know the number. You don't know the number.
1,000 people a day.
You don't know the number.
1,000 people a day. Again.
You don't know the number. You're just talking. You're just saying things. You think that there may be more corona deaths than the flu, but you don't know. You don't have the information. But thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you. All right. Shout out to my man Alvin for the call. Now, does anybody have? I don't know the number, but I know that the flu is actually it's a bad thing that happens every year. We had 80,000 that died from the flu in the USA in 2018, just that 1 year, that winter season. So how many have died from the flu in Italy versus this virus here? Alrighty. Now, let's get to some more calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. And let's do... All right, hold on. Let's see. 509 on the line. Who am I speaking to? 509. Oh, I'm sorry. I hung up on 509. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Hopefully they call back. Let's go to the next call. Sorry, 509. 218, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, man, Echo from Minnesota. So that last caller, man, I think that's a distraction and not very many points. What I want to talk about is a stimulus plan. Did you watch Bernie get up on stage there a little bit ago?
No, I didn't.
Oh, man. That's a bunch of crazy stuff. It made me think. This is the one thought I had. Big takeaway from this. How much money does it take to turn a Trump supporter into a socialist?
You said what now?
So I'm going to lay this view on you. What's that?
You said it one more time?
How much money does it take to turn a Trump supporter into a socialist?
Okay, is that what Bernie said, or is that your question?
No, that's my question. So Bernie's off on, I'm going to give you my point of view on this stimulus package. It's a little askew, and my point of view on this whole virus. Cold don't scare me. I had a bad cold a couple months ago. For all I know, it was COVID-19. I don't know. Whatever. But what they're trying to pass now basically lets anyone get on unemployment very easily. Self-employed people who never had that opportunity before and you get an additional $600 per week, which is insane. Now they're also going to give you $1,200 a month per adult per month, not just a one-time deal is what they're talking about. So at what point does this just sound great? Interest rates are so low, it's ridiculous. It's like free money. I'm going to refinance, be sub 3%. I mean, this doesn't look bad to me at all. This is hell. I'm living the dream over this.
So are you
my concern is that...
No, go ahead.
So my concern is that point of view and that mentality is, I mean, it's pretty easy to fall into. So I'm self-employed. I'm a homeowner, building a shop, all that, whatever. But I could get on unemployment. I'm not going to, but they'd break down what I paid in taxes into what I should be making. I can tell them I can't make it now because of the virus, and then they're going to give me an extra $600 a week on top of that? Why would I answer my phone and try to work?
Now, is the unemployment thing, is that going to be permanently?
See, they're arguing about all that, and Bernie just got up, and you should watch that. And, I mean, he's talking about minimum wage needed to be $15 an hour. You haven't raised it in, 10 years. This is an opportunity for that side of things to move forward with all of that. And it's very easy to fall on that bandwagon when you're getting free money.
Okay. So I'm not really sure. Is there a question for me here? I mean, okay.
Go ahead. What's your point of view on the stimulus package? I mean, is this a good idea at all? I mean, if they run this forward and make any parts of this permanent, who does this help? Who does this hurt? And how easy is it for people to fall into that mindset?
Well, I think that the main thing is that this should not be permanent. I think as far as the check is concerned, it's a one-off. You get one check and that's it. So it's not like an Andrew Yang thing or anything like that, where it's like you get money every month just because you are a citizen or non-citizen, whatever they want to do. But anyway, it's not like that. It's just a one-off thing because the government told you that you cannot go to work. Like in LA, other places, you are physically not able to go to work. Matter of fact, I saw something in LA today where they said, if you open your business and it's not essential, they'll shut your power and your water off. How can you really fight against that? So they can't tell you can't work, deny you your right to work, and then not compensate you for that. So I think that's what that's for. And, you got to do something if you're being told you can't go to work. I would have not closed down businesses if it were me. But at a certain point...
No, I agree with that.
Yeah, but we're here, so it's like, what do we do? I think Trump had to suggest that certain businesses not be patronized, although he didn't close it from the federal level, because if he didn't do anything, then that can make the panic in the street worse. That can make the civil unrest worse because of what the media would say. Trump didn't do anything. He's leaving you just out there to die, all this and that. And every death that will happen will be blamed on him. So then there'd be civil unrest, and that could be a problem as well. Maybe not as bad as what's happening right now, but it can be a problem in itself, and it could tear up the country for generations to come when you're talking about the election and everything else. So I think he did what he had to do. And now it's like, how do we fix the situation where we told people we couldn't go to work? So I'm not a fan of it, but it's like, what else are you going to do?
Well, with the stimulus package, I think it needs to be targeted. If you told a business you have to be closed, okay, pay for them. But to give everybody money, I mean, how many people are just barely scraping by because they're lazy, and now they get to go on unemployment and get an additional $600 a week and get a fat check that they don't even earn that much a month because they don't work that much. To me, there's a lot more people like that than there are places like you described where their doors must be closed.
Well, it can't necessarily be targeted just to businesses that close, because businesses, like, here's an example. You have the airline industry, right? Now, they've been hit really hard by this, so we're targeting them to make sure that they stay afloat. And it's not just because of those that work for the industry, it's those that work in ancillary businesses that depend upon the airline industry. You understand what I'm saying? So an example would be you have Delta headquartered in Atlanta and all the other airlines that come through Hartsfield Jackson. If you've been in that airport, it's like a big city in there, a giant mall and all kind of stuff going on. So all the shops in there, all the employees of the shops, plus Uber, Lyft, all the hotels right by the airport, all the economy that kind of depends upon the airport really rocking and rolling are affected because of the lack of travel and the inability of people to get on a plane and go from A to B. So you got to be able to keep the big industry afloat to have all the other industries that depend on it to stay afloat as well. And the people that depend on that industry, they're going to need help too, because when you help the airline industry, they still got bills that haven't been paid, and the airlines aren't going to give them money that they did not make because they're not employees of the airline company, although they depend on the airlines to be able to keep rocking. So it can't necessarily be directed at those that were forced to shut down. You got to think about the ancillary businesses as well, people that couldn't make money because of things being shut down that were not necessarily them.
No, that's fair. I just feel like it's too blanketed and too easy to take advantage of.
Yeah, I understand. I do understand.
Money involved.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I can appreciate what you're saying, especially in bigger cities. I'm from a more rural area where there's going to be a lot of taking advantage. And,
yeah. I can imagine drugs and everything else. I know West Virginia, I know what time it is. You know, I'm born in West Virginia, got a lot of family up there, so I know what it is, man. But hey, thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
All right, thanks.
All right, shout out to the caller. But yeah, you got a point about that. Rural areas, the pill mills, oh my goodness. Yeah, I understand what he's saying. It's just the situation shouldn't have gotten to where we are. The media, I think, are a big part to blame for the massive hysteria that has caused the bill to balloon so high. People panicking so much. You had to just kind of do the social distancing and stuff like that in some part to calm the people and to prevent civil unrest. But I wish we just could have kept things open. But hey, that's just my point of view. Who am I? Let's get to some more calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. And let's go ahead and get into it. All righty, let's go. Okay, hold on. I have somebody right here. All right, calling on the line. Tell me who am I speaking to?
Yeah, it's kind of. I wasn't even trying, but whatever. So I wanted to talk about something. Actually, my job is not. It's actually not. It's an essential. But I want to say something about the stimulus package. Can I go ahead and say it? It's gonna maybe long, maybe not, but I can shorten it out.
Yeah, try to shorten it if you can.
Okay. Well, no, I'm not I love economics, but my interest is still kind of lazy. What I will say is that the stimulus package does not apply to does it apply to service jobs? Because I only know so far it applies to, like you said, the flight industry, the retail industry, this and the third party. Would it apply to? It doesn't apply to service jobs, right? Such as hairdressing, auto repair, and all that, right?
Well, okay. The stimulus targets certain big industries, like the airline industry, but it also gives money to individuals. So if you are working at a hair salon or auto shop, you would get money individually based upon your tax return for 2018.
Okay, well, right now I work at a car wash, and they were considering layoff, but they were like, no, because I don't know why people are getting all, self-conscious about getting their cars clean. All of a sudden, I'm like, what? I haven't worked in like a week, so tomorrow I should be back.
Right.
And now my mom is like trying to get me into retail, be a stalker and all this stuff, and I'm like, no, I'm good. I am considering still applying, but like at the same time, I don't want to show consideration of from one job to another already. So I'd rather help get the tips from all those cars that are gonna come, get them clean and so forth. I don't want to deal with having to relocate jobs. I don't like that.
Okay, no doubt.
Yeah, and also, did you already hear that they introduced the coronavirus? Not the The one with the rat?
Yeah, I heard about that in China. Somebody had the hantavirus. I saw that.
Yes, and I mean, they're really trying to pamper it, but really, it's easily avoidable.
I mean, the issue with China is just that the living conditions and so many people, and the way that they operate, it's just a breeding ground for viruses.
Because they part of their cuisine is a lot of raw animals.
Yeah, raw animals, and then like what they call these wet markets, where you have all kind of animals, half dead, live, just mixed together, blood and all the other stuff just mixing together, creating these viruses. It's just not a sanitary place in many parts of the country.
It ain't. And actually, I saw are you sub to Steven Crowder? I don't know if you are.
Yeah, I'm sub to him.
Okay, he made a music video about that.
Wow, that's hilarious. I gotta go check it out.
It's a parody of the Kung Fu Fighting song, where like he actually makes fun of China for being a breeding ground of the virus.
Wow.
Hilarious. Yeah, man. I mean, if I recall, China, and also they're still having, believe it or not, they're actually still having the Black Plague over there.
Oh yeah. That's still going on. Yeah, that's not even that's still happening. Like, matter of fact, I think there was a case of that came in Arizona, and it could come to California because of like Skid Row and all the rats and all the people that are just kind of commingling, all the trash. Yeah, because that's how it comes about, all the rats. And if you were in China and you eating rats, obviously you're going to have the plague return.
Right. Actually, CNN made an article about this like only 3 months ago, I think. I'm gonna post the link in the stream if you want. Not now, right after the call. But yeah, man, it's crazy. And all these people still wanting to do trade with China. Like, what? We're doing a trade with China for 10 plus years. What have they given us in return?
And the virus and all kind of just bad products. Remember the whole Chinese? I remember those thing with the Chinese drywall. It was like poisonous drywall. A lot of houses were built with it, and people were trapped in their homes, had to leave their mortgage, 200, 300K because of the Chinese drywall inside their home. Like they've been doing bad things for a long time. This time it comes to an end.
But everyone looks up to China like if it's some sort of world superpower. I mean, it's only a world, military-wise and maybe technology-wise, but as a country, they're not really a superpower, if you ask me. I mean,
yeah, no doubt.
And their GDP is about to go to negative. I think it's not even going to be zero. It's going to go negative, like negative 1,000.
Right.
Is expected. Even with the virus being cleared up, what are they really operating at the moment?
Right.
I cannot think of any innovative industry. And one last thing before I go, not an economical thing, but I just want to say, going back to what I was saying is, everyone's being lazy about the virus, in my opinion, but at the same time, people believe the media. So now that although the cases may be spreading here in the U.S., everyone's like, oh, well, see, the media told me, because supposedly the UV rays can kill the virus. So now I saw plenty of people walking and, doing their everyday business. And I'm like, so wait, hold on. When are these people going to be, like, complaining that it was going to be police state, this and the third? And I didn't know police state thing was a lie because I've seen no police cars around me.
Right, no doubt.
Yeah, state. Yeah.
Well.
So just wanted to get it away. Well, thank you for the call, as always.
All right, now I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
You too. See ya.
All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. And thank y'all for joining. We got super chats on deck. Then I'm going to get back to the calls. Thank you to Kev. Oh, I read that one about the illegals going on hunger strike. I'd be like, hey, if you don't want to eat, that's fine. I'll come through your neighborhood with a chicken sandwich, eating right in front of you if you want to go on a hunger strike because you're illegal and you want rights. But thank you for that. Shout out to Shad Bailey who says 2 Chronicles 7:14 is the answer to the China virus. Thank you for your donation. Most certainly appreciate you. Oh, 2 Chronicles 7:14. Thank you to my man Keller699 who says we have a 21-day stay in place order starting tomorrow. I work in government IT. I've set up and issued 25 laptops from my office so employees can work from home. Only essential employees can go out. Wow. That's wild. Yeah, I'm hearing that everywhere. That's all over the place. You know, these stay in place. You can't leave. It's a mess. But hopefully everything works out well and you don't have a bunch of problems with that spread out network. But thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Big Al who says Italy and Iran ban Chinese nationals, but Trump is somehow racist. Exactly. Exactly. It's crazy. You know, they're doing the same thing that we did, and that's fine. But when Trump does it, it's racist. Thank you for your donation. Thank you to Scripture Shores, who gives me the thumbs up and a donation. I thank you for that. And thank you to my man Killer Sushi, who says, ABL, did you see Madonna in the bathtub giving her corona message? She looked like an Asian woman. She's had so many facelifts. Yes, I saw that. I saw the thumbnail. I did not really want to watch the video, but I saw enough to not really like what I saw. But thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. Nolo King, what's happening?
Hey, man, not much. How about you?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Yeah, man. So it's just as crazy here in Canada as it is in the U.S., man. The people, the left, the liberals are pulling the same crap that the Democrats tried to pull.
Oh, they're trying to get money into bills and stuff like that?
Yeah, so we had the same similar thing where the bill wasn't passed until late night because the liberals were trying to like Trudeau, he's in charge. So he was trying to have unlimited government spending and taxing, and he wanted to have it where he could make decisions without it having to pass in Parliament. So they were like, whoa, hold the brakes on that, right? So it's but the thing is, Canadians here, they don't really care about politics as much as the U.S. It's kind of boring because really a lot of people in chat, they ask me, they say, hey, what are the parties in Canada? And really, they're all left-wing. Even the Conservative Party would basically be kind of like the Democrats there in the U.S. So you have a whole bunch of parties. One is the Green Party, one is NDP, but really they're all left-wing. They're all the same when you think about it.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of what I hear. I heard there's like nobody in Canada that's conservative. Is that pretty much the truth?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. For them, what they see as conservatism in the U.S., that's like far out, right? That's far right. They love using that term. So when I say basic things like, oh, there's only man and woman, they're like, whoa, those are like radical ideas. What's wrong with you? You're such an extremist, right? It's pretty nuts.
Right.
But the thing with Biden, I know we like to laugh, but honestly, I'm starting to feel bad for the guy. I saw the interview he had on CNN or MSNBC, whichever one of those networks, and he kept coughing, and he even got scolded. I don't know if you saw that video, and the guy's like, hey, you got a cough on your shoulder.
Yeah, and I saw Biden, that was Jake Tapper on CNN. I played that earlier.
Yeah, then he coughs in his hand again, and it just made, honestly, man, it's starting to make me feel uncomfortable. Before it was funny, because it's like, oh, he's going to have a new gaffe each week. But it's getting sad, like him walking off camera and looking lost all the time.
Yeah, it is getting sad because it's like, all right, this man obviously has some kind of problems physically and also mentally. He is not right. But the Democrats don't care. They're just trotting him out there. And it's really a shame. They should not have him out there. They should have somebody that is of sound mind and body, not Joe Biden. It's really a shame.
Yeah. Yeah, and this situation because at work, I have to be at work. Yeah, I'm one of those lucky people who's going to get paid during the situation. I'm very grateful for that. So we watch on the news what's going on. You know, Trudeau gives us an update every day, 11:15 a.m. And one of the other managers, we were talking, and she's saying Trudeau never really says anything. He's just a typical politician. For instance, he was asked about they're doing a mandatory quarantine for anyone that comes back to Canada from overseas, meaning when they get here, they got to be in quarantine for like 14 days. Mm-hmm. So one of the people asking Trudeau a question said, so how are you going to enforce this? And this question was asked clearly at least 3 times. And Trudeau, he was, dancing circles around the question. And it got to a point where he just was ignoring the question.
Wow.
And I said to my coworker, I said, see, this is why people in the U.S., they like Trump. I mean, sometimes Trump will answer and kind of look like an idiot. But like one time he was asked about something and he kept going on about the wall. It was just really random. But people respect that. At least, you know what? At least he goes out there and he'll do the best he can. He won't insult your intelligence and ignore the question, right?
Yeah, you know, Trump is he's a genuine person. Like, he may say things that people don't like or it sounds kind of crazy, but you know that he's telling the truth. He's not trying to like sugarcoat it or anything like that. But then when you got a politician that comes out there and gives you all this rosy language without actually answering the question, that's worse, because it's like, okay, I want you to give me answers, but you just give me the runaround. So what are you trying to hide? I don't like that too much. So yeah, you got a point.
And then she says, oh, he's racist. That's why I don't like him. And I asked her, I said, give me one example of him being racist. Do you know any? And she said, no, but I've heard so many bad things about him. And then I said, do you think Trudeau's racist? And she says, no. And I said, but what about the blackface thing? And it looked like I fried her circuits, right? And then she starts saying to me, well, you know, he was in high school, and you know what I mean? She's justifying it. I'm like, we have this example. I'm not saying Trudeau's racist, but I'm just saying, if we're trying to argue that these guys are racist, with Trudeau, it's like it's out there, right? Like, you see the blackface, and I showed her the video of him imitating a black guy, and he had his pants stuffed. And we have this there, and you're just basing it on, oh, Orange Man bad, and you just believe it, and you find any excuse to protect Trudeau. But I could go on all day, and I don't want to spend too much time. And for you guys who are thinking about stocks, be careful on the Robinhood app. There's a glitch where you can leverage way more money than you should, and you could end up losing a lot of money. So just be careful. And I thanks ABL for giving me time. All the best, man.
And thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Peace.
Yeah, shout out to my man, No Little King. Yeah, I saw that. I think one guy exploited a glitch a while back, and he got in trouble for it. But I think they fixed that. I'm not really sure. But yeah, he got in trouble for that. But if you just, you know, put your money in there, buy stocks, you'll be just fine. And if you sign up and you get a free stock, it's all good. So just don't try to do nothing crazy and you'll be fine. It's just the same thing with everything else. All right, let's get to some more calls. Let's go 239. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, what's going on?
Everything's good, man. What's happening?
Turn you off.
All righty, thank you.
Oh, not much. Man, what a week we've had, from Biden to just everything. Oh man, from the coronavirus being from calling it the Chinese virus being racist to now the Black Plague coming back. Man, what a what a week we've had, man.
It's a lot going on. Yes.
Oh yeah. How have you been?
Oh, I've been just fine. I'm good. You know, I do my thing here, so I'm not having any kind of problems. My parents are good. Dad's retired, got a pension. He's straight. Mom is good. So everything is just fine.
I was laughing when I heard that what the Democrats wanted for the stimulus package, how they wanted to give minorities and LGBT people more money and more rights and everything. And as soon as I heard that, the only thing that went to my mind is Cedric the Entertainer and Barbershop. When he said that won't do nothing but make Cadillac the #1 dealership in the You remember that?
Yeah, but you know what? That's 100% real, because people are not going to spend that responsibly. I mean, I know what I'm gonna do. You know, it's basically I'm gonna save it. I'm not gonna just go out there. People are gonna buy the latest Jordans and drugs, of course. It's
right,
not
right.
But some people are going to do the right thing, but you can't really differentiate between those that are going to do the wrong thing and those that are do the right thing.
Right. I had two questions for you, because I'm going to be real quick, because I know you got a lot of calls. And these are my two questions. Question number one, do you think that this coronavirus is going to be a big deal come November, if, in fact, we do get back to work and everything is fine in April? Because you know how quickly we forget things. Like, everything could be such a big deal now, but come November, we'll be like, yeah, it was just a small break we had. It wasn't really a big deal. We don't see it as a huge threat anymore by November if we do get back by April. So do you think it's going to be a very, very big deal that will shift voters or not?
I don't think it would shift voters. If anything, people will come to our side more, because they saw we handled it, and they saw that we got through it, and we're able to keep on moving as a country. They saw, like, if the stimulus works, which I'm not necessarily a big fan of, but if it works and everything's back to normal, I think that'll help Trump. And Joe Biden right now is looking worse and worse every day. He might not be able to make
God.
it.
He has not had one good stream. Not one.
No,
good
not at all.
Stream. Oh my God, you can't even run that. Here's my second question. My second question is: do you think that after this whole thing passes, that we will finally do something to hold China accountable, or are we just going to brush them off like we always done in the past? And this question comes from Idris Elba, who was talking about the coronavirus. And he didn't want to talk about China because he just got done filming around like something, I don't know, some company with China. And he was talking about like, oh yeah, you know what this is? This is the Earth telling us that we're treating it bad. That's why we have the coronavirus, because the Earth is like tired of us like poking at it and doing things to the Earth, so the Earth has to fight back. I'm thinking to myself, no, it's China, dude. And everyone's trying their hardest, all the media and everything's trying their hardest to not blame China. So do you think that after this, we are going to go again? We will finally try to hold China accountable, or do you think we're just going to let them slide again?
I hope we hold them accountable, but it's going to be hard to do that because of the position of what they are, of what they mean to us. I mean, everything we buy, all our cell phones made in China, they got a lot of our debt. They're buying up a lot of things over here in the United States. They're buying up U.S. assets there. It's going to be hard to really fight against them in any kind of way. You know, we're doing this whole thing with the trade war, and look at what's going. I don't know. It's going to be hard to do anything against China, although I think that there should be. And because the problem is, if we do things that hurt them, like economically, it could hurt us worse because we make all our things over there. Now, some are going to say, let's bring jobs back to the States. I'm with that 100%, but that's not going to be an overnight endeavor. So it's going to be hard, although there should be some things happen to them. I'm not sure if they're going to actually get anything done that actually make a difference against China.
Right. I just hear Trump saying all the time, like, oh, you know, we need to hold them accountable. This is China's fault. We need to hold them accountable. You know, I don't know if you saw, you probably did because you're so much more into this than I am, but you saw the one reporter that he said, you know, what do you tell the American people? He's like, I'll tell them you're a bad reporter. You're a horrible reporter. You know, he doesn't care. And he is calling it the China virus and constantly saying, hey, I've been saying this all along. China is bad. Now you guys know.
That's
so
right.
I hope that they do too, is what I'm saying. I hope that they do too, because, but you're right. You're right. You know, the fact that if we do, it's not going to be like a quick thing. It'll take months, but yeah. Anyway, hey, stay safe during the quarantine, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm working from home. I'm very blessed to be able to work from home, and some of us are, some of us aren't. You know, I hope the stimulus package helps some of us, and hey, thanks for everything, man.
And thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yep, have a good one.
All right, shout out to the caller, and thank you all for being here. We got a little bit of time left. I'm going to get to a few more calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. And thank you to all the super chatters and everybody that's been going on. Thank you to Big Al, who says, where were the moratoriums, travel bans, and sheltering in place for the common flu? That's what I'm trying to say. Exactly. You had 80,000 people that died in 2018. Now, I know people in the chat, some are going to say, don't compare it to the flu. That's a bad comparison. I'm not comparing the virus to the flu. I'm just comparing the reaction to the virus. You get 80,000 dead bodies. Oh, it's a vaccine, 40% effective. So what about the 60% that are going to catch it and may pass away? Are we just going to keep everything open? We're not going to shut anything down? Not even really vigorous hand washing? But I digress. Let's get back to the calls. 434-658-1220. All right, caller on the line. Who am I speaking to? 757?
What's up, ABL? How are you making it in Tennessee?
Man, everything is good, man. I'm hanging in there, man. How about yourself?
Man, yo, it's good for me, but like I'm just getting tired of like people be looking at you sideways. It's like if you take a long shoot. Man, I hate when I do that. It's like when you about to say something and then like you forget the word because I know you stutter too.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say, you know what I'm trying to say is it's like if you take a deep breath, right, and then everybody stop and look at you sideways, it's like you about to do something crazy.
Right, like is he going to sneeze? Is he going to blow up? What's going to happen?
Yeah, I'm like, man, yo, this stuff is getting crazy. But I want to ask you a question, right? So I always like to watch your videos. So are like you trying to be funny in some of your videos or crack a joke because it's like I can't tell by like your voice. But I be hearing you talking. I'm like, yo, is he serious about this? And I just be laughing uncontrollably. I'm like,
I'll tell you like this. I may put a joke in there every now and again, and I try to kind of just. I'm not trying to necessarily be a comedian, but I want you to kind of get it and then enjoy it, so it's not always so serious 100% of the time.
Because you said something the other day, man, and I had to park my car. I'm like, yo, I'm like, hold on. Because it's like your voice, it doesn't change. It doesn't, like, it don't change. So it's like, yo, I wonder if he, no, that's supposed to be a joke because all this quarantine stuff has been getting on my nerves. So I've just been laughing at everything because everybody be outside, especially old people. You remember in Virginia Beach on the ocean front, how they be having them old white guys out there with them signs talking about something. Well, if you don't pray, you going to hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now they're doing that with the coronavirus. It won't be literally with somebody with a sign, but it's like if you talk to somebody, say, well, they're about to shut it down. Today's the last day. They stop scratching and stuff. I'm like, yo, are you on? Well, I'm not, because I live in Hickory, so it's a different breed of people out my way.
Yeah, you way out there. You way out there. You like yeah, I know all about Hickory. All the deer and frogs and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah, I live back in the day with all the rich people.
Yeah.
But look, man, they be outside be talking about but today is the last day when they gonna close down the interstate. You won't leave the house at 11 o'clock, and it's over. I'm ready for this to happen. I'm like, who's paying your bill? Like, look at that at the house. I don't need all these. Oh man, I can't wait till they shut it down. I'm like, wait a second, they shut it down. Nobody ain't getting paid. So what? And I'm like, between CNN and Facebook, like that stuff makes me wonder. I'm like, this can't be real. But then again, it's reality. I'm like, y'all really think like that? It's like that virus check. I'm telling you, it's just gonna be like that episode of Dave Chappelle when they gave black people them reparations. Then their FUBU went up. George. Oh man, I'm telling you, in downtown Norfolk, you know where exactly. Man, there's gonna be a giant line at Foot Locker.
Oh, it's gonna be crazy. The mall's gonna be off the chain. As soon as they open the mall up, it's gonna be cracking.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be no shoes. I'm putting that in the savings account with the rest of my money because you got to be a responsible adult. But there's some adults that they like to say that they're responsible, but you're responsible when you live at your mama's house. I don't know how that works, but I'm not getting judged. Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of black people talk about, well, how can they give us this check but don't give us reparations? I'm like, look, man, you know how hard that is to, like, you're going to have to look at all the black people in the country, right? And then you're going to have to go through all their family records to see who was a slave or not. Because my family, because I have a grandmother that's white, and her great-great-grandfather's name is Robert Bryce. You can Google it. He owned the Bryce family plantation in South Carolina. So it's like, so do I have to pay y'all or something? Is it like I'm going to have to pay taxes for this? I'm like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense because it's hard to prosecute people because it's been so long ago and the bloodline may change,
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I've always said this about reparations. It's like most black folks are not going to be able to trace their family history, beyond their grandparents, let alone all the way back to the boat, number one. And then number two, we're mostly mixed people. So how are you going to figure out who's who? It don't make no sense.
Yeah, because people be looking at me and like, man, you dark skinned, but you got long curly hair. I said, man, there's black people all around the world. Stop asking me all these questions.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, man, but Trump is doing a good job. I know that CNN is saying that he's trying to suppress it or trying to make like it's not a big deal. But here's my thing. If you're a leader, right, you have to be strong even though that you're scared. Because if the leader shows fear, everybody else is going to freak out.
That's right. 100% correct.
So,
exactly. That's why when he was saying that, we got the virus under control, everything's going to be all right, people say, oh, that's the wrong thing because look at the virus now. Nah, he was doing the right thing, because if he didn't say that, what's he going to say? Oh, the virus is crazy, everybody going to die. We talking about pandemonium, people in the streets not knowing what to do with themselves.
They went wild when Freddie Gray, I still don't know how he died, but when they went to that city, man, they destroyed their own neighborhoods. I'm like, Obama, can you make them stop? I was looking on TV. I was actually in class in high school. I was looking at them like, man, they are special up there in Baltimore. I said, that's why I'm not going back to Baltimore no more. Man, I went once. I said, you know what? This ain't for me, Jesus. But one last thing that I want your opinion on, because I know it's about 1,000,000,001 people calling you, because I've been calling you like 100 times, like you was my ex-girl. But anyway. So, here's my thing. So, a lot of African Americans, well, I don't even like to say that because that's stupid. Black people or Black Americans, I want to be kind of PC tonight, but why do they have this hatred for Donald Trump all of a sudden? Where Donald Trump has been like an almost black icon forever until he ran for president. I don't understand the logic. Like Little John and all of the Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, they all reference Donald Trump in their music as somebody that you should be like, but he becomes a president and now he became a racist. Like, that doesn't make any sense. I thought racism, you got to be, a little more consistent with it. I didn't think you could be a retro racist, all of a sudden, because he wasn't racist in 2010. So all of a sudden, in 2020, the man's a racist. I'm like, I don't think that's how racism works. But I just want your opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think what's going on is that people just following whatever the media says, following whatever they think they're supposed to be thinking about, because people have been raised up to think, oh, if you are a Republican, you're a racist. If you're on the right, you're a racist. If Donald Trump ran as a Democrat and had a lot of the same talking points and the same viewpoints, he would not be seen as a racist. But because he has an R by his name, then that makes him a racist. All of what he did in the past, being a black icon, basically hanging out with Shabba Ranks, Super Cat, Rosa Parks, Muhammad Ali, is wiped away. Hanging out with Puff recently, like 5 years ago, is wiped away.
Yeah, like the weirdest psychology, but here's my thing. I know I'm about to go.
But I got to kind of cut it right here though. But thank you for the call, man. I definitely appreciate it. All right,
man. Peace. We talk about it later.
All right, now. Thank you. All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. Let me get to the next call here. Let's go to. All right, caller, you on the line. 27. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Ideal from Boston.
All righty, what's going on?
This is my first time calling in. I'm so glad we're actually on this topic. The fact that Donald Trump refers to the virus as China virus, I love that. I know I cannot picture any other president calling such virus China virus, but yet they're calling him racist. They're saying this about him. They're saying that about him. But it's interesting because when other virus came, like Ebola virus, they will refer to African. So at the time that wasn't racist, but all of a sudden now, because he called the China virus, the COVID-19 virus China virus, now that's a problem.
Yeah, exactly. It's all kind of viruses that are named for where they came from. And it makes sense, especially now, because it just tells you, okay, in this particular part of the world, don't go there, avoid it. It's an issue. That's where it came from. And, the whole thing about coronavirus is inaccurate because coronavirus refers to a family of viruses. So let's just be accurate and call it what it is rather than trying to be PC and confusing people.
Exactly. But I am, I used to be a Democrat, of course, and since I changed everything from a few years ago, everybody came against me to the point where, you kind of stay silent about it just so you don't create any problems, especially when you're around family. But I am so glad that he's the president in this time, because I cannot picture any other president in this time handling things the way he is now, So I'm so glad, and I'm so thankful as well for your channel. It really blesses me. I'm always looking out for the live. So tonight I finally caught it, and I actually made it in with the call, so I appreciate it.
Well, I thank you for the call. I most certainly appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, shout out to the caller. Great call. All right. I'm not sure what country this is, but you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
It is me. I was writing you in a chat. I'm from Europe.
Okay. All righty.
And are you scared?
Not at all. It's all good. It is all good. What's going on?
Yeah. I'm from Czech Republic, which was former Czechoslovakia, if that tells anything to you.
Yeah. Is it also called Czechia?
Yeah. Well, it's Czech Republic.
Okay.
Yeah, we separated like quite a long time. So I just wanted to tell you that, I'm just watching that all and I'm laughing. I'm just laughing. And I'm sorry for all of you. Of course, we're going to lose some people. We're a small country. After we separate, how do you say it correctly?
Separated.
Yeah, after, that's crazy. I'm so shy, And
It's all good. It's you're among friends, so it's all right.
It is deep night here. It's like 3:30.
Oh, okay.
a.m.
Gotcha.
And so I'm alone, so it's not that bad, but I'm really shy. And oh my God, I'm 38. So I remember the communist regime, and we were never part of the Soviet Union. That's my cat. And, a lot of people think that we were part of USSR. We were never part of them. They invaded us in 1968. Americans, the president that time promised us. Are you still there?
I'm here. I'm listening to you. Yes.
Yeah. The American president promised us. I didn't live there, but I know it. I know my history. She's biting me. She's jealous that I speak to someone else than her. Hodna. You hear her. Okay, the president promised us that if the Russian comes with the tanks and everything, and he will invade the country and install communist regime in the country and make the Russian military bases, he will come and liberate us. Guess what? Did it happen?
No.
No. No, of course not. Of course not. Thanks God. Well, one of our neighbors, we are right next to Germany, and even West Germany, that's not East Germany, and up next from Austria, which were Western states. So we didn't have it so bad, but I remember we didn't have washing machines. You know, there were long queues whole night. Then the truck came, and those who bribed got some really bad Russian washing machine, and those who didn't bribe or even did, but, you know, got nothing. So it's the same. It was with bananas. I saw first kiwi, the fruit kiwi. I saw first when my father, he was a truck driver, and he brought it from somewhere, and he on Christmas, it was like how do you say it? Can I swear?
No, please, no cursing.
No cursing.
Well, I gotta ask you questions. I got time. I gotta kind of, I gotta get to some more calls. So, how is the virus doing in Czech Republic? How is everything going there with the virus?
Well, we have like 12 million people officially, but we have like illegal immigrants, legal immigrants, whatever. So in the whole country, we have like, I don't know, maybe 14, 15 million people. And today we have 5 people dead. One was stage cancer. One was over 90 years old. One was 88 years old and very sick, and those 2 others were in similar conditions. So,
Yeah, it seems like the virus is kind of overblown all over the world. Yeah. So I don't mean I have to get to some more calls. So thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Don't believe everything what you see. Of course, you have to, disinfect yourself, disinfect everything. Don't meet with people and everything like that. But, if you catch it and you even like 40, 50 years old, but you're healthy, 60 years old, healthy, strong man.
Right.
It is like really, really, really bad angina. Like,
I agree. Thank you for your call. Thank you for your call. I appreciate you.
Okay.
All right.
I will leave you.
All right now.
Bye. I love you. Bye.
All right. Thank you. All right. Shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate her. And we got a few more calls to get to before we wrap it on up. Put a bow on the top. Let's get to 509. You're in the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, how you doing?
Everything is all right. How about yourself?
Oh, well, I'm sitting over here in Washington State, but I'm in a red county. We voted for Donald Trump and Republican, so we're a little different than the other side.
Right. You're not over there in Seattle, are you?
No, Spokane. That's what I'm saying. We're people that work.
Right.
We're not service people.
Right.
We agriculture, mine, and lumber, and fish. We do all kinds of things over here.
That's right.
So, and then when the governor does stuff, we like spit. Because we don't do what he says no more, because they don't represent us over there. Well, I don't know what is going to happen with this corona thing, but, we're just going to have to wait and see. But it looks like Biden's already got the corona. He's looking really, like you said, he looks like he's not even there.
Yeah, pretty much.
The cure is the cure is the cure. What is that? No, I was just thinking what they're hoping the cure will destroy the economy, and so everybody will, think about Democrats instead of going with Donald Trump, kind of ruin his reputation. I think that's what he was meaning. You have to kind of look between the eyes or something. I don't know. Like you said, have some kind of, spooky radar thing. But anyway, I was just trying to, I listen to your videos all the time, and there was this one, and it made me think, which, I always think all the time. But anyway, the elephant in the room, or should we say the rat, or the bat, or the monkey, because these experimental labs, are full of animals. And I don't think people realize that. It's a lot different than a blood lab in a hospital. Okay, they have high levels of insulation, or each one goes up. Anyway, what I need to get to, because I know you need to listen to other people, is that what are these highly experimental, contaminable labs doing? And there's 10 of them in the middle of China. And I'm not saying there's 10 in China, but they're all over the world. Anyway, why are they there in China? I mean, it just makes you kind of, what? This is the elephant in the room. And what I'm saying is, at the same time that we're told to not buy China, that we're spending money in the South China Sea, trying to, make sure shipping lanes are open, and all this stuff, we're economic warfare with China. Where is the military? And they went in there in October of last year for the Military World Games. There's 110 different countries participating. U.S. was in there. So why are we all this friendliness and all with this high contaminant biological stuff in the middle of China when we're supposed to be fighting, China? It just doesn't make any sense. And I wish somebody would do some investigation to find out. Now, these 10 labs, okay, that are all secret and stuff, and they're military, these are biohazardous labs, and they are, with the Freedom of the Information Act, available for everybody to see some of the last things they did, like biological hazards in San Francisco Bay, New Jersey. These people are like, I don't know what kind of creatures they are. I don't even want to call them human, but they've been experimenting with these, what they call it, it's under an auspice of how are we going to handle a biohazardous contamination. So they do all this weird stuff under that guise. When Syria, remember how they went after Syria for using a biological warfare? They went after, who's the other one? Saddam Hussein. Every time somebody uses it, oh, no, they can't use it. So it's a really strange game they're playing. So I'm just kind of wondering if, you have to throw away the tin hat, but it would be very easy with all these people running around in China. This is October. This is real. October 18th through the 27th. They were in the Wuhan, China. Anyway, and it would be very easy for when all those people was around for somebody to get in there. Now, remember, the people in China are starving. I mean, they're getting laid off. They're getting all messed up with this economic trade war we got with them. So somebody could easily just leave one little door open. Somebody go in there and get some bass, cats, whatever they got in there. Okay, because they got lots of animals in there. And just literally settle for a couple hundred or whatever they use in China over at the wet market, which is like 2 steps away, I guess. No, I don't know. But anyway, I'm not saying this was like set up, but that's what I'm saying. Very plausible what had happened. But either way, I'm just really concerned, with this China thing because, Nixon went over there and tried to do we're going to teach them Western financing, and they're going to love to be with us. Well, the opposite actually occurred. Instead of us trying to becoming more capitalism and individual and republican, they went the other way, and we actually became more like China. Well, I'm sure you heard this. I'm not making it up.
Right. I'm with you. I'm sorry. I got to cut you, but I got a few more calls I want to get to. Thank you for your call. I definitely.
I just want to throw that in the wind because I know you. I really wish somebody investigate these laboratories. This is really a nasty thing, and it's not just if it happens, it can actually happen all the time in these things. Anyway, I appreciate your show so much, and peace out, man.
Thank you for the call. All right. Shout out to the caller. Let's get to a few more. Let's go 225. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi.
Hello. I got a little bit of feedback in the background.
Oh, yeah, because your video is playing, and I just paused it. Okay, so, hi, I'm Amber from Louisiana.
All righty. What's going on?
Well, I'm a senior in high school, so I'm about to, I'll be able to vote soon. So I just got into politics, and I'm just like, I'm hearing, like, I'm just coming out as a Trump supporter and all that, and I'm just like, I'm getting, like, these comments from my left friends, like, about the pandemic, how Obama, that he prepared us for a crisis like this, and they're telling me that Trump apparently, like, cut funds and all, and I tried to do research on that, but I didn't find anything, so I was just wondering if you knew anything about that.
Okay, now, Obama did not prepare us really for this. There was an outbreak during his term. I think it might have been H1N1 or the swine flu in 2009, killed 12,000 Americans. There was no travel restriction or anything like that done back then. Everything was just as normal. I remember I was actually out and about, moving around and everything at that particular point in time. I was like, I might have been like 25, 26 at that time. And everything was just as normal. And what Trump did as far as any kind of funding cuts, he did not cut any funds. He just made it to where certain governmental bodies were able to perform better and be more efficient. So rather than having this group over here, that group over there, he joined them together. So anytime there was any kind of problem, any kind of issue, they could communicate directly in the same department rather than being disjointed and bloated unnecessarily. You just consolidated the forces rather than having them being spread out, because if they were spread out, it'd be more difficult for them to work together. So people, they hear things from the media. And I think a lot of what you're hearing from people, like your peers, is because of what the media are saying, which is false and or presented in a way that's confusing to people to actually understand if they're not in it all the time and really knowing what's going on behind the scenes.
Right. And it's funny how the left media didn't show anything about all those sneaky things they were trying to put in on the stimulus relief package. And yeah, I'm just like, every time I like all my liberal friends, you know, they always have something to say. And like, I was just too young to know about, under the presidency of Obama, I didn't understand, you know, all that. The only thing I personally know is how Obamacare did more harm than good personally to my family. That's the only thing. But thank you.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. Shout out to the caller. All right. Golf and Guns has the stats right there. April 12th, 2009 to April 10th, 2010. CDC estimated there were 60.8 million cases, range 43.3 to 89.3 million of the H1N1 swine flu. 274,304 hospitalizations, range 195,886 to 402,719, and 12,469 deaths. All right, that's it right there. There was no kind of anything done. And he also depleted the mask, what they call it, stockpile that we had in the federal government, and didn't replace it. So he gave Trump just a bad situation that he has made into a good situation, from what I've been able to see. Yeah, thousands died. There was nothing really done. It was just like, whatever. But let's get to some more calls. Okay, let's go 260. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Everything's great. How about yourself?
Good.
All right, man. What's going on? What's happening?
I just talked to somebody today, my neighbor, and she actually has it. She's in self-quarantine, and I haven't talked to her in a while, and I had no idea. That was like my first experience with talking to somebody that's had it, and I asked her what it was like, and she said it is not a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine it's not a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, right. She's got permanent lung damage, and the doctors are saying that probably about 20% of the people that get this thing, they're predicting that 20% could have permanent lung damage. So even if this thing, and then you don't have an immunity to it. And this is just what the doctors are telling her, and then she's telling me. So I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not like a doctor or anything, but and with this thing spreads like wildfire, it's it might not kill you, but it's 20% 25% chance you're going to get permanent damage no matter how old you are.
I don't think they actually know what the percentage is of people that may get it and get permanent damage. How can they know? This is a brand new virus. We don't even know how many actually have it in the country. So I think that number just might be an estimate, what they may guess. But I don't think they actually know what the end result of this is going to be.
Right. But I'm guessing that they probably come up with that number based on the amount of people that either have it or have had it and recovered. And then they can say, oh, out of all those people so far, roughly 20% have had the damage done to them or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in other words, they could just make it up. But if they based it on anything, it would be something like that. So I don't know. It's just wild. Like, I'm here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and already on the news, like, the town's like a ghost town, and it's a fairly big-sized city. And already on the radio, they're saying that, like, they put out an announcement that the cops can, like, pull people over. They're, like, really trying to force the self-quarantine stuff.
Right.
Cops can pull you over and give you a ticket, you know, if you're not out if you're not supposed to be out. So I don't know how they would ever.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I'm not sure how they really gonna. I'm not sure how long they're going to be able to enforce this without any kind of civil unrest happening. That's the end result. If you keep people in their house long enough, if they're not able to make money, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's kind of scary, really. I mean, even, like, no matter how you look at it, like, whether you think it's a big, I don't know, like, what do you call it? Like, Alex Jones always calls them a false flag, right?
Mm-hmm.
For, like, government to do, like, a power grab of some kind, or this thing's worse than what they're saying. They're trying to downplay it, but at the same time, by forcing everybody inside, it's like, wait a second, are you power grabbing, or are you not telling us the full story about this thing? And I was always kind of like skeptical, because I was like, well, people aren't dropping over dead, you know, like left and right from it. But after, like, talking to somebody, like, personally that I know, and they've had it, and they told me, like, what the doctors told them, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like,
yeah, they don't know. They don't have all the information. They can't have all the information because it can't all be known. All they can do is just estimate based upon what they know, which is not a lot. So I think that right now is the time to just kind of get through this, and then once we're on the other side of it, evaluate what's going on and figure out a way to get forward. And I think people talking about this drug that's helping them, I think that could be the solution right there, and we could just move forward.
Yeah, that'd be nice. But, I mean, do you think, like, the self-quarantining is a bad idea? Or how long do you think this can actually go on before stuff starts getting kind of unstable, like society?
I think if people want to self-quarantine on their own, that's fine. But I don't think it should be government mandated. I don't think we should be shutting down their entire economy because a few people that have died. People die every day from various things. You know, people die every day from infectious disease. But we don't shut down the entire 80,000 people died from the flu in 2018. We didn't change a thing. So why do it for this? People say it's more deadly. We don't know how deadly it is. You know, we just guessing. We're just making estimates at the end of the day. So I think that it's just overblown. And if you keep people basically locked up for long enough that are not, violent citizens, and you don't have any kind of guards in a cell in a controlled space, people are kind of spread out. People are going to come outside and they're going to get back to life. And if you try to stop that, then there's going to be some civil unrest, which is what we don't want.
Yeah, right. And if this thing's as bad as what they act like, you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. All right. Well, cool, man. I love your show. So thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
See you. Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller, but I got to go ahead and wrap it on up, put a bow on the top. Thank you for being here. If you couldn't get on tonight, I'm sorry. It's not my fault. You know, it was just a busy night tonight. The phones were going off the hook. But thank you to everybody that was able to call in, and thank you for watching the show. Again, this is ABL Live. If you're listening to this on your audio streaming platform, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor, Castbox, whatever you're listening to it on, thank you for listening. Review it, share it, whatever you can. If you're watching this on YouTube, live or on the repeat, please hit that like button and also subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And click the button right beside the subscribe button. When you click that bell, you get notified when I go live and or post a new video. So I think that'll be a wrap for me. Appreciate y'all for being here. Shout out to the moderators tonight for getting them trolls up out of here. Them weird accounts talking about I'm home now. There's ain't the third. Anybody trying to see that? Thank you for getting them trolls up out of here. We got Bill from the Hills. We got Elijah Jean. We got Michelle A. We got Ansel. We got Killer Sushi. We got everybody. True Helper, I see you in the building. Thank you for doing what you do. You guys are great. And is that pretty much it? Super chat. Did I get everybody? Give me 1 second to refresh right quick. And then wrap it on up. Oh, of course, I'll be back Saturday. You know, same time, same place. Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern. Live on YouTube. Let me get the super chat. Thank you to Say Hi, who says, thanks, brother, with the peace sign. Thank you for your donation and your very kind words. Most certainly appreciate it. And I think that will be a wrap. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.